Okay, what up, ladies and gents? It's your favorite Asian robot right here. Hopefully, your favorite official content creator for the First Descendant. And now we are rocking and rolling on both YouTube and TikTok. So I hope you guys will have a good time with me today. Let's get started. All right, let's have a good day today. Okay. Now, I have one simple goal today. I want to see how Serena is performing. So, that is my thing. Today's topic of conversation will be how people feel about Serena, because I've been hearing things on both sides of the argument. I wanna see where the people's opinion is at. Hell, dude on the web. Let me quickly tweet and then we'll get things underway, yeah? In the meantime, make yourselves comfortable and let's have a good time. Keep in mind that, like we always do, this will be a no judgment conversation. So, because of that, I want people to be able to have your say, whether they think she's overpowered or whatnot, or whether she's just fine. That's what we're gonna talk about. El Cento, Painted Beats, No Killer. Well, you'll be able to have your say in a second. And vote in the poll, of course. Alright. I'm gonna set things up in a moment, so y'all give me a second. There we are. Good. Okay, poll is set. You guys can now vote and have your say. Regardless, like I've always said, there is no judgment here. You can have your say. Don't feel like you are gonna be judged for your statements, because what we do these polls for, plain and simple, like I've said before, is only for one purpose. We want to see where the audience is at. What's the audience thinking? You know, what are the people thinking? So don't worry if you've only just finished her, or, you know, if you've just started building her up or any of that kind of stuff. We're not here to judge or, you know, tell you that you're thinking wrong. Doesn't matter. I just want to see what the people are thinking. At least that way, you know, for my stream, we get a good sample of what the people are thinking. It gives us a good idea of where things are at. At the same time, I will most likely be just bumming around bosses in multiplayer. Why? Because it's fun. And also we can help a few people out. So that's what we're going to do. Now I'm going to switch to my Punisher. There she is. Move your gun. There we are. Okay. Arcade tuning. Yes, this is correct. Of course, the launcher requires a little bit more. I don't have a Eugen build, Black Fang. If I had one, it'll be on my channel already. Okay. Before I go in and do anything, let's see where the polls are at. From just 17 votes that we have right now, of course I expect more over time. 61% think she's good for the game. 11% think she's OP. Gotta nerf her now, it's about 2 people. 28% say she's OP but no nerf. And 0% say that she's weak, which is logical. Well, I don't think they're gonna start nerfing all the characters, but I don't decide the nerfs. I'm just here to find out what the public thinks. Because at the end of the day, think of it this way. If I don't know what the public's thinking about, I can't help you fight or stand for any decisions made by the game, the devs, anything like that. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to find out what you think. I'm not here to find out what anyone else thinks. Well, that should be fine, Black Fang. You don't need my exact rolls. That should be okay. You'll deal slightly less damage, but that should be okay. Testing, unfortunately, guys, as much as I am an advocate for testing, I gotta be honest with you, most people never do. Even when it comes to the videos that they release, how many times have you seen a creator lie to your face about what a build can do, and then we test it here and it's completely different because you realize, okay, they didn't exactly tell you that this one shot was not consistent. They said that you could do it anytime, anywhere, no problem. Lied to your face. Like, how many times has that happened? So I think you understand my hesitation to completely agree with testing, because testing is a very rigorous process. You have to be very sure, and even when you're sure, you question yourself. So I would say, while I think testing is good, I don't think you'll ever get somebody or even devs to ever test on the same level that I do, because they just won't have the time to do it. I've got 3 hours with you guys while we talk, have a good time, and discuss. It's very easy on my mind. I don't have to worry about people messing around or trolling or things like that. And even if I do, they get shut down straight away, right? So for me, testing is a vacation. Testing is relaxing. So I spend my time doing it because it's what I like to do. But for other people, it's hard to get into the mindset of testing. You know where I use all that high pressure mindset? I use it when making my music. Because I have to figure out, because all my stuff is AI generated, I never said it wasn't, right? So because all my stuff is AI generated, it takes me time to like think through it, and I have to ask myself, is this song gonna be a hit? You know, you question yourself over and over. That's how it is. So maybe sometimes that's why they don't like to test. Of course I have music, Black Fang. See, this is what happens when you don't pay attention to what the streamer is saying. You disappoint me, my boy. Go to SoundCloud, look up RealAsianRobot. You'll see me there. No, it's not on Spotify yet. Hey, 240. Grand Antique. See, harder content, that's a separate debate. Unfortunately, Grand Antique, we've talked about it at length in other streams, but I'm sure you and I both know that it's impossible for them to do harder content. What are they going to do? Bullet sponge the enemies again? We know how the last time it went when they had bullet sponges, right? People flip the table, and they will again, because bullet sponge is just artificial difficulty. That's not real difficulty. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that in this game right now. And Lewis, listen, there's a lot of people that think that way, and that's not wrong, you know? Serena has a good balance for mobbing and bossing, but here's the thing. I feel that once you get a character that's good at both, it denies the need for experimentation. Think of it this way, right? When I play Monster Hunter Wilds, there's a lot of people that'll tell me like, man, I feel so good with this weapon, I don't want to change and use any other weapon, and they're right. Why would they want to? For example, the bow, fantastic weapon, I personally love it. But it does its best as a support weapon. I feel it's one of the best ranged weapons in the game. And if you structured it with my new bow build, which I will be releasing, well, either today, tomorrow, whatever, I haven't really decided yet, but whenever I decide to release it, if you're using the bow is an insane weapon. And I'm talking really insane. But it's best as a support weapon. When you use it on its own, the biggest problem with the bow is that if you're soloing, you're not going to be able to do a great job. Why? The bow was never meant for that. The bow was never designed for that. The bow is, as it always was, you know, designed for supporting as a ranged weapon. Similarly, you know, if you... And Midegola, listen, if you ever name another content creator here, alright, positive or negative, you will be banned from the channel. Alright, and Goku, we're not discussing another content creator, alright? Thank you, Rena, for taking care of that message. Listen, never ever mention another content creator on my stream. Never discuss another content creator. Why? It creates drama. Whether it's a positive discussion, negative discussion, doesn't matter. Do not discuss another creator on my stream. That's my rule. We are a strictly drama-free stream. Alright? You ever try and slip in a comment like that again, I'll throw you out the door and you'll never be back. So, I hope everybody gets that through your head. Anyone even participating in the discussion will be thrown out as well. Okay? We don't do that here. Whether we want to talk positively about somebody, whether we want to talk negatively about somebody, we just don't do it. It's unprofessional. I'm not here to judge somebody else. And one thing which I'll say to you, Midigola, is that, yeah, goodbye. You're getting banned right now. All right? You came here specifically to name some other content creator. You're getting thrown out. Anyone else want to follow? I'll just throw you out the door. All right? If you try and come to my stream to talk about somebody else, you will be thrown out. Now, back to the topic that I was discussing before I was so rudely interrupted by this jack off here. All right. Here's the thing. Like I was saying, what we are here to do, right, is play a game, and there's a variety of characters, and we want to enjoy this variety of characters, right? So same with Monster Hunter Wilds, there's a variety of weapons. We can enjoy a whole variety of weapons and things like that, you know, all that kind of stuff. Here's the facts. People won't enjoy that. So when you create Serena, who is like, you know, good at both bossing and handling mobs, what people are going to get is they're going to get comfortable. They're going to get comfortable with that one character, and then they're just not going to experiment outside of that, which hurts variety, and it also hurts longevity. You see, it hurts longevity in the game, and that's, I think, something that the devs don't want. Kai, there's supposed to be some slight delay before you can use your skills again. You're not supposed to be able to instantly use your skills again. I would suggest you go back and watch the streams where I'm mobbing, and you'll actually see that I don't just straight cast. No, I'm pausing between casts. There's always going to be a casting delay. Even on a Ness, if you look at a Ness, right, and you continuously spam the button rigorously, she doesn't continuously cast her skill. There's always a casting delay, remember that. And cooldown doesn't fix that. Cooldown only fixes the time in between you get another charge of your skill. It doesn't fix the timing in between being able to use your skill. Otherwise, if you press the button 3 times in a row, or you spam pressing a button, what will happen is that you will just spend all your cooldowns right there, and it also makes the animations really janky. And no problem, Michu. Marcos, about that, they cannot just make a new Colossus, because it actually they've actually gone through this in an interview. It takes them about 6 months to make and create a new Colossus. Hey, Arcane. This guy playing a different game today. I caught that, by the way. How you doing? Anyway, with the new Colossus, it takes them about 6 months to actually make a new Colossus, because they have to decide on the attack pattern, the style, all that kind of stuff. So that one is quite important for them. And I feel that that is why they don't make the Colossi so soon. Deathstalker, they already had in the works before Season 0 dropped. They already had Gluttony and Deathstalker in the works. And Gluttony was a reskin, but with mechanics, you know? So when they finally make a new Colossus, it's going to be different. The reason why they have to do the reskins is because they cannot make new animations for the Colossi. And to be frank, some of the Colossi, like Hangman, have not seen a hard mode yet. Hangman was the first one with real mechanics. I would like to see him in the game again in a hard mode setting, maybe in abyss mode setting. Force that teamwork, force that cooperation. I'm down for that because I think that'll be pretty cool. They're gonna have to take away the solo, but I think that'll be pretty cool. I would like to see a hard mode Hangman, yeah, because that was the first real stumbling block for a lot of people, and I think that if they put him again in as like a sort of end game, yeah, that'll be pretty cool. This is Zebra. That's completely fine. Preference or not, have your say. So let's check in with the polls right now. We've got about 10%. It's about 7 people that say nerf her now. I would love to hear your reasoning for why we should nerf her. Please, this is the discussion. I would love to hear you say it. 51% think she's good for the game. 34% think she's OP but no nerf. And 5% say Serena's weak. I mean, up to you guys. Maybe you should check out my builds. I'm doing good. Day just started for me. Marcos, you won't get a new one per season, unfortunately. No matter how much you want it, you will never get a new one per season. All right? Because the animation work and creating the mesh, all that kind of stuff for the Colossus is going to take ages. So unless you want to sign up as a dev, Marcos, that's never going to happen. And that's just how it is. They've already stated what their development time is. You will never, ever get what you want. So that idea is going to have to go out of your head and be thrown away. You're probably going to see more of the so-called Colossi reskins than anything else. And I just want to be upfront and honest about that. Yeah. Basically, like I always tell people, if you don't want to do the work yourself, then, well, you're best off just accepting the situation. No problem, Neo Wolf.
Descendant, confirm arrival at the operation zone. Proceed with caution.
This is HQ. Enemy reinforcements incoming.
Eric Reyes, they've already stated multiple times in interviews that Jiggle Physics is not actually taking away anything from the development game, even if they hire a bigger team. All right, let me counter with a little bit of a problem. All right, you guys want new Colossi, right? But new Colossi are gonna come with mechanics. Otherwise, people are just gonna scream that it's gonna be a simple, straightforward 2-second kill. So if the new Colossus comes with mechanics, how do you think people are going to react? Do you know what the crybabies are going to do? The crybabies are just going to say, this is too hard, nerf. So then that's 6 months of planning time down the drain. If you ask me, why would they waste any time planning a Colossus that people are going to try and find mechanics to get around it? Or people are just going to find ways to get around it. Why would they waste that development time when, quite frankly, if you don't mind me saying, and I hate that I'm saying this, but the truth has to be said, Jiggle Physics would bring them a lot more money from their standpoint as a business. First and foremost, what have we done? Let me ask you this question. What have we done to educate and encourage the community to ensure that they are accepting of mechanics? How much have we done to shut down the crybabies who always talk about nerfs? How much have we done to guide those that don't know what they're doing, you know? How much have we done to do all that? Because we've done none of that. Listen, I don't disagree with that fail emotion. That's a great way of thinking. But the problem is, Warframe already exists, so how do we as TFD retain players when Warframe exists? How do we get players to want to spend 2,500 hours on this game? Defiler doesn't exist right now. It's been replaced by Tormentor, Big Daddy Chain. Alright, you can't fight the Defiler anymore. No. MR18 won't unlock the Defiler. Profiler is not in game right now. Right now it's the Tormentor. You're welcome, Chain. Hello, Brandon.
Deploying RK. I am the original.
Arcade tuning is good, I don't disagree. And yet, even with that, people are saying certain content's too tough. People are saying that they need nerfs and all that kind of nonsense. Nah, Strider, that's all AI generated. I own that. That's my AI doing its AI thing.
Mission complete.
So think of me as kind of like a music producer. And by the way, if anyone wants to hear my latest tracks, it's available here. I'm trying to get it distributed now, but it's wholly AI generated. Why do I not play with friends? My friend is busy on another game, and I'm okay alone. This game is playable solo, in a team, whatever. So I'm relaxed. I will say it straight, I don't need friends to make me comfortable. I mean, it's nice. It's nice if I have my friends with me, but I'm also not going to force them to play the game that I play. They will be here when they want to play. Guy, I'm gonna tell you straight, right? To be honest, you're gonna waste your time building an ATOMs. When my video about it is out, you'll see what I mean, but it's genuinely a waste of time, in my personal opinion at least. I don't foresee it being good or useful. It's cool for a trick shot, but not good for an actual game. And I will demonstrate that at a later time. Okay. Well, Neo Wolf, listen, nerfs sometimes do have to happen for the sake of creating a more conducive, a more balanced gaming environment. But that's how it is sometimes, you know. There's no right or wrong answer.
Would you like to use the laboratory?
When do I think I'll have a void erosion build for Serena? You have to wait. I will get it ready when it's ready, because right now I've got my own plans for what I want to do. So I would say be patient, wait, and then when you start seeing me testing it live on stream, that's when you know I'm ready. All right, I apologize that I cannot give you a time frame, but I like to work on things independently and when I'm ready. Well, Kenneth, here's the thing. What Warframe does or doesn't do, you know, at the end of the day, that's not the issue here. What we need to focus on is TFD, right? So I don't worry about what they've done. Their mistakes doesn't matter. What I want to know today is how are we going to get people to stay for this? And Black Fang, is Keelan good? Build my build and then think for yourself. How dare you even ask me that question? Okay. Now, let me see the polls before I carry on. Okay. We've got 50% that thinks Serena's good for the game. 14% say she's OP, nerf for now. That's about 14 people. 32% say she's OP, but no nerf. 4% say she's weak. I still haven't heard from the people that want the nerf for her. And again, there's no judgment here. So if any of those like 14 people could like say, why do you want a nerf for Serena? I would like to hear your reasoning on that. The thing is, Lord Rain, that no matter what we do, I will say it straight to you, Ines should be built, because even if you're investing so much into Serena, you need to have a tool for everything. All right, you don't have a toolbox with just a spanner, right? You need a toolbox with every single tool in it. So I would really recommend building an S because she's still the fastest for stages 1 to 25. Heck, you could probably get up to stage 27 with an S alone. All right, that means only the last 3 stages you're going to need Serena. And even then, my testing is only going to be on the last 3 stages. What I would really recommend, build an S so you can blow through those levels and then you're ready for Serena when the time comes. Because if you haven't even started Void Erosion Purge, you're missing cores. You can't get started with core. You are going to need cores for Serena's build, Lord Rain. So get an S started, and then that way you at least have rank 10 cores ready for the finale. All right. And Kai, once you get to stage 28, just play in public and you'll be fine. You'll be able to get through. And fail emotion, they might do that at a later time, but you never know. You never know. Like, all these are potential systems for the future, but it's not really a discussion for today. I would love to discuss it at a later time, maybe when we're talking about what we can do to make the game more interesting. But today's topic is mostly focused around Serena. So, and I would like to have the discussion around that. And Eric, that's completely fine. I'm actually just here to, I'm actually still wondering, what are the people who want the nerfs thinking? I'm very curious. Because I haven't seen anybody talk about why they want the nerfs. H. Luke, you're welcome to that, but that's also not what we're discussing here today. In general, Black Fang, I would say you always need my rolls on stuff. In fact, you should never even be asking that question. You should know by now what to do, right? Oops, wrong thing. But yeah, you should already know what to do. You ask that question again, I'll throw you back to the videos. The arcade tuning, you don't need to worry about that. That's extra. We were able to do it without it. However, you can follow what I did in the skill node video. I mean, when I demonstrated how to get around that one bug node, you can follow exactly that and you'll be fine, Lord Rain. So catch up on all that content. You should already know how to build her. That being said, I will refresh her build for it at a later time. Well, a lot of people are liking her OPness, but I still haven't heard about why people want her nerfed now. Because nobody's like, again, there's no judgment here. I want to hear why people are saying nerf her now in the chat. Why? And no, Maurice, not at all. I never play support. And why would you want to support anyone at all? There is no need when you can just deal all the damage yourself. See you later, Black Fang. But next time you better stay for the entire 3-hour stream. Next time you don't do that, I'll murder you. Okay? Now, oops, sorry. Let's close the wings. We're gonna do a little testing. We're gonna copy this, paste it here. Yes. And we're gonna take this out. Take this out. Level this one. I didn't realize I hadn't leveled it for this, but we may as well. Well, Kai, you can have your say in the YouTube chat if you want, because the polls are not available on TikTok, and I'm sorry, I won't be adding anything to the discussion from TikTok side, because TikTok is just my supplementary stream. You want to have your say, you'll have to come over to the YouTube side, but what I will say is that from a completely neutral standpoint, she is not balanced in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to be honest with you about that. This is because in the old days, and also they can't really bring everybody up to Serena's power level because she is quite literally one of the highest damage dealing characters in the game, and that is pretty insane. So from my standpoint, she is actually unfortunately very, very
Hey there.
overpowered. She's not
What can I
balanced in
help
any
you
way,
with?
shape, or form. That being said, I don't think that balance is a problem, at least in my opinion. You know, I feel that like if she's OP, let her be OP. What's the problem here?
Would you like to use the laboratory?
That's a whole chicken and egg thing, Kenneth. I mean, no matter how much you think that, what's the problem? The problem is that we're going in circles. If all descendants are brought to the same as S tier, and please forgive me, I hate tier lists, so don't call anything S tier. But if we were to bring every descendant to the top tier, right, or to the best, like Serena, and then you say, and the content should be more challenging, how are we gonna add challenge to the content? Let me ask you again, how are we going to add challenge when the first few times that they added challenge in the form of mechanics, people couldn't even fit shapes? People couldn't even fit shapes together in the invasion. And there are still people who ask me, Robot, I can't do invasions. I'm like, are you kidding me? All you have to do is, you ever seen that meme out there where it's just, oh, where does this circle go? This circle goes in the square hole. Like, it's literally that level of simplicity. The semicircle goes in the square hole. That's literally what people are having trouble with. There's a symbol on a door. You match that symbol, you go through the door. Memorize a few shapes and symbols. Are you telling me people can't even memorize 3 items? How do you remember phone numbers?
New subscriber detected.
Like, what are we doing here? How are they going to add any kind of mechanics to the game? I understand the feelings, Fail Emotion, but please don't use caps, okay? You don't have to shout, we can hear you. But I understand the feelings, I understand the emotions, you know, the emphasis. Everybody should be able to do a puzzle. If you can't do puzzles, then re-educate yourself, Dark Death. But anyway, if you're saying that just to get my attention because I mostly ignore you, then that's also not gonna work, alright? You're on thin ice, kid. Don't get thrown out of my stream. Because I got no time for time wasters, alright? I'm a serious man who has serious discussions. Also, by the way, guys, don't forget to like the stream. We got 100 of you here. If you guys could like the stream more people can come in and have their discussion. I know they don't remember phone numbers, and that's a skill that people have lost. But they should, because guess what? If you don't remember stuff, you lose that memory capability. How do you think I remember everything? How do you think I remember every single one of your faces that you guys walk in here? Do you know how I remember my chats? Do you know how I remember how everybody speaks and things like that? It's literally because I memorize every single one of you. Memorization is a very important skill. You got to take note of details. You got to take note of memorization. You got to look around, use your eyeballs. If you can't even have basic pattern recognition, we are all going to turn into a race of people that can literally only do one thing. Get a story railroaded to you. And do you know what? That ruins video games. How many times in this day and age have we had video games that literally put you on rails and say, okay, so this is how the story progresses. Go do this exact one thing. They'll even give you a waypoint to it. They even give you a waypoint to it and say, go here. You see, there's the thing to do. And that's what they've literally made the video game industry, because people aren't interested. How could you rank up quickly? I'll be honest with you, Frost. Play the game. Follow my builds. Play the game. Here's an entire playlist of videos. If you watch every single one, you really want to rank up quickly, you watch every single one of my videos in the playlist. Have fun. You build my builds. You watch my content. You learn. Simple.
I will cleanse this place. You will not fail.
Sorry, Chinese dude. If you want to have a discussion about this, you're going to have to come onto YouTube. I will not be taking anything on Serena's discussion off from TikTok. TikTok is just my supplementary stream. I'm very sorry about this, but please come over to YouTube if you want to be a part of the discussion. Because if you don't come on YouTube, you know, it's hard for everybody to discuss. Oh, crap. I need to restart the cooldowns again. Not trying to isolate the TikTok side, but I'm very sorry, guys, because Right now, our thing is focused on YouTube, so it's easier if we contain the discussion in one location. Yeah, way less. Okay, good. Understood. But under the same circumstances, I'm gonna check. How much do we do with this?
We can do it.
I think some of them already do, Jose. I just want to be real with you. I'm pretty sure some of them already do. And Arcane is right. That's exactly the big problem here. How exactly are you going to make the game more challenging when the second you do, the casuals all cry about it? Because there's some guy that really wants to play the game one-handed for obvious reasons. And Maurice, some people have said that Divine Punishment's great with Serena. You can try it out if you want. Like, for me, I'm satisfied. I have no reason to try it right now. I may at a later date or a later time in future, but I am not investing in it right now. However, it would be useful with, the hymn skill. So you can use that to buff your allies and trigger things like Passionate Sponsor or whatever. So you can go with that. It's like, some people have said it's a decent, like, support playstyle, but I don't like to play support. You guys want to play support? Unfortunately, excuse me, you're going to be on your own when doing that. And David Howard, that's exactly why people said they don't want bullet sponge enemies, because bullet sponge enemies are not a challenge. Bullet sponge enemies do not make the game more challenging. They do not make the game more fun. All they do is make the game more frustrating. And that's what a bullet sponge is. That's why people don't want bullet sponges, because that's not fun. That's not a fun part of this game. So I hope that helps to answer the question, because that's exactly the problem people are having. People do not like bullet sponges. They don't want to play or have a bullet sponge. They just want to be able to actually play a game with challenge. That being said, on the flip side, we can't have that challenge, because the last time we tried and introduced it, what did people say? Let me guess. People said, "Oh no, it's too hard. I can't. If you hard, then you hard." That's basically what people said. They can't even fit shapes. So unless you have an answer for me on how to get people interested in mechanics, which they absolutely refuse, then we're back to square one. And again, here's the other problem. When we have mechanics in games, people these days, they just want a simple game. They don't want these mechanics. They don't even want to learn. Do you know how many times I've had the argument on YouTube when I've told people, look, sometimes you have to look things up on YouTube. They're like, a game is bad if I have to go outside of the game to get information, but every game requires you to go outside to get information. I've literally said it dozens of times. You go onto Monster Hunter Wilds. And you have to look up what certain things do, because other people have spent more time out there testing what a particular decoration does and what a particular skill does than you have. So you tell me.
There's no getting away.
It could be bug, Francisco. I would say report it to the devs, dude. I cannot help with that. If you are unable to complete a challenge, or if a challenge appears bugged, report it to the devs, please. I think that'll be the best idea. Don't put the time limits is not helpful, because look, whether you're speedrunning or whether there's mechanics or not, a time limit is a time limit. At the end of the day, right, people do not want to spend 20 minutes doing something in a game like this. I'll be real with you. They don't want to spend that time. That's okay, Francisco. I can understand you perfectly. But if there's a bug challenge, it's better that you report it to the devs in the official Discord, because more people will be able to help you. Unfortunately, I cannot help with bugs and things like that. Exactly. If you take away solo play, the first thing that people will ask for, and this is exactly what happened with the community, is that they said, why can't I solo? I want to solo this. So they put the solo capability in, because that's what the majority asked for. A lot of stuff that you're seeing right now is all things that people ask for. The problem with the devs is that they over-listen to the community. And to an extent, I agree that some things should have been soloable, because a lot of time, when they first made all those Colossi only team-based, people complained. They don't want to have to drag, you know, that one guy through the fight when they know he's just looking for a carry and he's not going to learn. So people have to learn to play the game, you know, I get it. But at the same time, when you force cooperation and you don't have a commensurate reward, then people won't want the solo capability. And people want it solo because there's no additional reward for co-op except the headache of having to get somebody through mechanics when they don't want to learn. They literally do not want to learn. They will never watch a YouTube video. So how do you solve that? You see, you can't make mechanics optional, because if you make mechanics optional, people are just going to speedrun the content anyway. So how do you do all that? You see, that's the problem we got to solve. If you want to talk about challenges, we want to talk about making people, we want to talk about mechanics in the game, making fights more enjoyable and more skill-based. What action are we taking to ensure that the entire game population focuses on skills? We can talk about it till the cows come home, guys, and I agree with you. For what it's worth, I want that. Do you know how good I feel in Monster Hunter when I finally figure out, ah, yeah, so this is how to use this weapon. You know, when I get skillful with something, when I figure out the way. You know, it's a sense of accomplishment like no other. It's no different from my music when I figure out, ah, so this is how to get something to sound the way I want. I'm like, okay, that sounds cool. As much as I would like to say that, you know, they should bite the bullet and stop worrying about the crybabies, how much of this population do the crybabies make up that they're literally controlling the decisions on what we do? How many of you guys are actively talking in the official Discord and taking a stance against the crybabies? Because I tell you, if all of you who are sitting here having a discussion with me, and it's no shade toward you guys, I'm proud of you guys, but listen, if all of you were to sit in the official Discord day after day, and anytime sometimes some crybaby spoke up and you shut them down on my behalf, I think this would go a lot smoother. Because right now, nobody's shutting them down. Everybody's too scared to even speak up in the official Discord. You know, they think that the crybabies are too loud. They're afraid to try. But if everybody banded together and literally shut those crybabies down, told them to shut up and get good and leave the game, then maybe we might stand a chance at mechanics. But this is the problem. This is the problem, ladies and gents. It's just the loud few, yes, but they're loud. That's the problem, Jay. And when they're loud, you know, they're gonna have the time of their life being loud and controlling what we do. And that's why I'm saying, Fail in Motion, you gotta stand strong against that. If you want change, you have to fight for change. If you want change, you have to fight for change. I'll say it again. All right? Because that's the problem. You want this to adjust, you want this to be different, then you gotta stand up and say, I'm not standing for this anymore. And if they try to bully you out of the community, then you bully them back. You know, if they push you, you push them back. I'm not saying harass them in the same way that they would harass you, but what I am saying is that if they throw a punch, you don't turn the other cheek. You tell them straight to their face that maybe they should get good. Exclusive rewards for the skill content is nice, but you gotta shut down the table flippers. Thanks, Potato. But you gotta shut down the table flippers first. Because if you have an exclusive reward, what's gonna happen, and I can already foresee the Reddit post and I can already foresee the Discord post, what they're gonna write is some stupid shit like, oh, listen to me. I am a guy, I work, feed my family, I've only got 2 hours a day to play. So this type of content, it excludes those of us, and I pay for my skins, I pay for my characters. I can literally already see the Reddit post being written like that. Like, have a thought for those of us with some families here, guys, come on. Alright, I work a job, I'm not sitting in the basement playing TFD 17 hours a day. You wanna know how I know that? Because this is literally the arguments I get on YouTube. That's literally the argument that the poor devs are going to have to deal with, because you make exclusive rewards that require skill to obtain, and that's what these people are going to say.
subscriber detected.
At the end of the day, they will call us elitists, they will call us gatekeepers, they will call us this, they will call us that. It doesn't really matter, nor does anyone care. The point is, we need to take a stand. And yes, they will mute you. Yes, they will try and shut you down. But if they're relentless, then so are we. You know, if we want this positive change. But that doesn't hang on my shoulders. That actually hangs on the shoulders of the people. Because I don't think that things are that biased. However, the official Discord's a good place to start. I don't know as much about Reddit. I don't really use it that much. But what I do have to say is that if it's that bad of an echo chamber, then sure. That being said, there's still an official Discord. And as far as I know, people can't just be straight up banned in there. At the very least, if you have your discussion in a reasonable manner, you post your points in a reasonable manner, they can't just throw you out. As long as you are within their rules, they have to follow that.
My shield. Damn them. Let's end this.
Now listen, there's nothing wrong with paying for characters. I don't care whether you
There's
do
no
or don't.
getting away.
The only thing I care about, though, is the fact that you should never use that as your argument. Like I said, within context, I don't give a damn if you pay for characters. Just make sure you registered me as a creator before paying for characters. If you registered somebody else, then you shouldn't even be at my stream. That being said, you know, if you pay for characters, that's fine. You're helping content creators like myself. You're helping me. And supporting me is a great thing, which you should all be doing. All right? If you don't know how to support a creator, ask for the link. I'll happily post it in chat. And you can get started right now. But again, the main point of all this is whether you pay or whether you don't pay, you still have to learn. If you're choosing not to learn, then that's what makes you those people. That's what makes you the crybaby who doesn't want to, who eliminated all challenge and then complains about getting bored. People complain about getting bored now, but they eliminated the challenge for themselves. I told dozens and dozens of people, here's how you beat Hangman. Here's how you work together. You better start educating people. You think they did that? No. They cried and complained and cried some more and complained some more. And they actually nerfed down Hangman. So now he's easier than ever, which is great because people need to kind of get through him to get to the storyline. But yeah. At the end of the day, if everybody balks at difficulty, if everybody immediately says, nah, this is too difficult, I can't handle it, you know, devs can't introduce challenge because this is a live service game. They have to keep their audience happy. And even if we say it's the loud few, it's clearly loud enough and maybe not even few enough that the devs are constantly hearing their suggestions. So even if we want to call them the loud few, maybe what we need to do is show them that the majority is not them. The Hangman was easy. You could beat him consistently and evenly without even upgrading your weapons. I literally proved that back in the day when the normal content was actually difficult and had some challenge in it. I showed everybody how to beat Hangman and everybody could have followed my way. Chose not to, that's on them. But you know, 4 Freynas in there using their ultimate skill, all of a sudden it's a whole lot of death. Kinda hilarious about that, right? And that was back before I even knew how to make a good build. They do argue that, Neo. They do. But the people that pay the most for this game, or at least I know from my selection of the biggest donators to my stream, the people who literally grind real life are also the ones who grind in game because they know what grinding is. And Derek, that's up to you. You know, I find that there's plenty to do, but hey, if you're bored, play something else for a while. Unfortunately, Potato, that's how it is. That's how it is. Solo is easier than team play, by the way. That's in Season 3. Season 3 is more than 90 days away. Guys, don't distract yourself from the issues. You have 87 days left of the season. Why are you talking about Season 3? Because the devs teased it? There's 87 days in this season left. You telling me there's nothing left to do? I'll see you in 87 days. I'll say it straight to your faces. Get out and don't come back. I'll see you in 87 days. But for those that are in this, you want to keep things alive, you want to keep this going, then, you know, we need to think about the now. We need to think about what's going on here and now, and why are people still the way they are. Actually, this thing looks cool as shit. Huh. Like, this is just a gun. This looks exactly like Dead Space, actually. That does look pretty cool. Hold up. Can I make it red? That is an ugly ass red. This is not red enough. Don't tell me I have to use this red. I don't want to use this red. This red is terrible. I can live with white. Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Grind should be separated from challenge. Okay, that's a valid point, Empire. But hard to implement. How would you separate grind from challenge, if you don't mind me asking? How would you, in our current situation, can you give me an idea of how you would separate grind from challenge? I would like to know. Because I want to see from the perspective of someone that can bring that up. How would you separate grind and challenge? Because I've got a very different idea on it. You tell me yours first, I would happily tell you mine after.
You wanted to see me?
Okay, I'm almost close to another outfit. So it's time to go do exactly that. Serena! Serena the Garena. Don't have Defiler, Award Fragments, or Amorphous. So you're saying the bosses are only going to be for pure challenge, then a very small number of people are going to play that if it's just for challenge. You can say people play the boss for fun, but this is a progression-based looter shooter. People aren't going to play something for fun. They do it for loot. And if there's no loot and there's no reward, people aren't going to engage with the content. They already did, Nick. They added the Sigma sector. Goku's idea is actually better. Loot should be proportional to time and challenge. And in fact, that's exactly what I was going to say. You want people to engage with content, then how about, like I've discussed before, in a co-op situation, you should be getting 4 times the loot. Not the same single player loot that you're getting right now. Another free roaming area is not going to help the game. People are just going to check it out for 5 seconds, say it's cool, and then they're never going to interact with it ever again. So I like the sentiment, I really do. But people aren't going to enjoy another free roaming area. How many people do you see hanging out in the med bay other than those who completed the quest? Nobody even goes there anymore. Some people pose by the tube to take pictures of themselves and Daya, but that's it. So another free roaming area is not going to add much to the game. Just going to be honest with you about that. And hey, Sir Tommy, how's it going? Now, loot. Loot's important. But I say that if there's a challenge, it should give more loot. And that is the real key. Imagine you create a really challenging boss. But instead of just making it so that you know, when people go to that really challenging boss, they just immediately get the same loot that you would on any other non-challenging boss, right? Thing is, if you go to a challenging boss and get good loot for that boss, people will engage with that challenging activity time and time again. That is exactly how they're missing. And Disco Video, I appreciate your opinion, but that will never happen. There's not going to be a real leaderboard, and they're not going to award caliber. They tie caliber to that leaderboard, everybody's going to cheat their way to the top because real money is suddenly involved. Okay? So that's never going to happen. I understand your sentiment, but that isn't even something worth discussing because it will bring 100 more problems than it would ever solve. Now, don't forget to like the stream, by the way, and promotion times. If you haven't heard my music yet, go have a listen. It's good stuff. And no matter what we say, Eric, you know, I agree with you. The devs need to not listen to crybabies and stand their ground, but
We can do it.
the thing is, we got to do our part as well. We also need to give the devs ideas. A way to gain caliber would be nice, but should never be implemented in this game. Because what will happen is that people will immediately start complaining about everything that they paid for. And I'm sorry, Nick, but PvP will never be allowed in this game. So if you even want to discuss PvP, I'm very sorry, but I'm going to have to ask you to leave my stream, all right? Whether it's on TikTok or YouTube, same rules apply. We do not discuss PvP here. Nobody needs PvP in this game, and PvP will not help this game. What it's going to end up is another balancing issue mess, and that will not help this game. If you want PvP, I suggest you play a real PvP game. Because quite frankly, a lot of people say, and you know, it's funny when they challenge me, they're like, RealAsianRobot, you play a PvE game. Yeah, but I'm Celestial in Marvel Rivals. And I'm going for Eternity next season. So that's what's up. If anyone wants to talk PvP with me, you better be top 500 in the game. You can't do that, don't talk PvP with me. Because those are my rules, Valdelay. If you can't follow the rules, you don't get to be at the stream.
Do not fall.
I do not know what a nightfall is, Mr. J.
My shield has been damaged.
But if you have a good idea, can you flesh it out? And if it's something from another game, I would suggest putting a TFD spin on it. Because they cannot just take ideas from another game. Yep, that's the rule, Nick. We don't talk about that or discuss that ever here, as I mentioned. At the end of the day, you know, Desmond, unfortunately, that is an untrue statement. Look, guys, we're not here to debate PvE versus PvP. This is why I also don't allow mention of it. All right, let's keep focused on the topic. But anyway, just to correct your facts, Desmond, more people play Marvel Rivals than almost any other game out there. The only other game that's topping it right now is Monster Hunter Wilds, and that's because it's new. So fair is fair. A lot of people play PvP. Okay, so it's unfair to say that people don't really play it. They do. PvE is king, yeah, to an extent. But let's not forget, PvP has a huge audience. So I understand why people want it, but it's not a discussion for the stream. Thanks for understanding, Nick. Nightfall is from Destiny. I had a feeling. But yeah, look, if you guys want to suggest things from other games, do it, but put a TFD spin on it and make sure it's an idea that the devs can get behind. And don't just straight up copy. There has to be a reason why we take it on board, all right? Try to flesh out your ideas a little more. Well, Syra, I'm not actually against that. That does sound like a pretty interesting idea, but what would be the content in that? If you don't mind me asking, what are we selling to the audience in that particular mode?
Purification.
Well, a more in-depth rating system, unfortunately, cannot occur because a rating system is like contingent on us being able to co-op together. Right now, there's no reason to co-op. So when they tried to introduce Void Erosion Purge, they expected the last few levels to be co-op. They actually said this in their interview. And if they tried to do that, they failed miserably because they don't have any co-op systems in this game. What we need is a serious like party finder system. We need like proper co-op systems and a reason to even play co-op, because people in this game, they aren't used to working together at all. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but people here, they don't much like working together. They really don't. Everybody's a hero, which I'm sure is great. I'm sure they're all having a great time being heroes, but people don't, you know, people don't like to play together. I wouldn't say the Descendant dies. They could have a Descendant injury system, but that's probably going to cause people to table flip Eduardo. I can see your line of thinking. It's a nice system, but people hate systems like that. It would be very unpopular, going by my experience in other games. Monolith Enigma, please check the Serena gun build video, and I explain it, everything that you need in there. I would suggest going to the weapons section of that video. And this is why, ladies and gents, you ever got questions, you got to watch my videos fully. I promise you, you watch my videos fully, half these questions that you ask will never exist, because you will know it. I know my videos are long. I know most of you only watch 1/3 of the video. I get it. But if you watch the full video without skipping even a single second, I promise you, you'll learn a lot. Your choice, though. You see, the problem with Rufino is that, as I said to the YouTube audience as well, and this guy's on TikTok, he said, maybe there's an exclusive weapon for harder content. I get it. Rewards for harder content's great. But once you do that, the crybabies are going to cry. And unless you guys are going into the official Discord and shouting them down every single day, they're going to cry their way to success. 6-man co-op sounds great, but we can't even get people to get a 3-man co-op. So how are we going to have 6-man co-op? You know what I mean? Like, this is the problem. I want co-op. I do. I'm all for it. You know, let me lead my crack team. I'll do it. No problem. But how are we going to do that when people can't even get their stuff straight? I want what you want. But at the end of the day, no system can exist when we don't even have the culture of teamwork in the first place. Yeah. And he is talking about raids, but that's exactly why I'm saying that I get it. I understand that people think raids might save this game, but that's not going to save the game. Because first and foremost, we don't even have the foundational system to work together.
You wanted to see me?
Let's go see what this does. I want to see its animation. Yeah, you know what? I'll just buy it first. Then I'll go see its animation. Difference between weak point damage and crit damage. Critical damage occurs on a percentage-based chance. Weak point damage occurs when you hit a weak spot. Both can occur independently or together. That's the difference. Oh, this color toy is pretty cute. Oh, I like the way it reacts. This one was pretty funny too. He flexes, so he wakes up, looks around, flexes, and all that. Come on, move, color toy, move. There he goes. I do like the color toys. And to be honest, Nick, it's not that Serena's miles ahead, because quite frankly, Ines can do a lot of what Serena does, and so can Haley. But it's just that Serena's great for both mobbing and bossing without needing a glass cannon. She's actually more tanky when mobbing or bossing, which is crazy. That's what puts her ahead. It's not that she can't, like, damage-wise, other characters can do the same. I just want to put that fact out there, just so everybody knows. Anyway,
I am analyzing the
let's
void
go in and
paradox.
let's carry on, shall we? In fact, let's see how many people are even in multiplayer. I'm just gonna go on a little boss tour for fun. If the Call Toys actually helped us in battle, I tell you, people would cry power creep so fast. It is a circle jerk. It is a circle jerk, Alexandru. Because there's dozens of characters that are unused right now, and I'd like to see them useful. You know, I agree with the statement that a developer once made. Not a developer for this game, but for another game. They once made a statement saying that, you know what, balance is actually boring. Balance kills creativity. I agree to an extent. But without some form of balance, at least some loose, light balancing, things don't really go very well. Sorry, Dilly. I'm not a priest. I'm not sure why you're calling me father. What about a community challenge to gauge where the player base is at? Listen, Nick, down for that. Now, that's an idea we can implement right now. I would actually like to see that. Listen, Victor, I'm all for that. But Destiny had clans and guilds right at the start. We don't, so, you know. If we have that at least, it makes things better.
Purification.
Hey, there's actually people in multiplayer. Nice. Let's go kick some bosses' asses, multiplayer style. That's how things work. That's how all this power works. Helldivers 2 is a good example, but I want to remind everybody that Helldivers 2 has 5 times our player base. Even more, actually. Helldivers has a lot more of our player base than we do. In fact, let's look at how they're doing right now. They have like 73,000 at peak, 36,000, and this is Steam alone, FYI. Now, they're not on Xbox, so they're missing at least one console, so we do have slight advantage on that. But if we take a look at just Steam and PS5, they have over 100,000 players concurrent. Let's talk about us. How many do we have concurrent? Right now, we've only got 9,900 with 19,900 peak. And that's on Sunday, right? Okay, we expand that to both consoles as well, and what you're going to end up with is a number that's above 50K, between 50K to 60K. That's how many we have. We can't really compare ourselves to Helldivers. If they start by giving us clans, I will be really, really happy with that. And Stanley, my build is on my channel. All you got to do is follow my build. You can do exactly what I'm doing. Just follow my build. It's literally on my channel. I demonstrated it with the Ancient Knight, Serena's gun build. There you go. Helldivers 2 is only 6 months older than this game, by the way. Sorry, 7 months older than this game. It's all on my YouTube channel. You follow my builds, you'll never go wrong. I'm surprised that even to this day, people don't know about my builds. You follow my builds, you will always win. Nobody, like, you can prove it for yourself. You've tried others. If you haven't tried others, try others. But you try mine, you'll see the difference. Roguelike missions can be fun, but losing rewards would be frustrating. Again, I think people will cry, but I would love to see a mode like that, to be honest, Nick. How would I run my clan, Craig? Those who support me and are fanatical about their support of me, they get in the club. If you dare support anyone else, you're not in the club. You get the hell out of the club. End of story. I would run it exactly like the Mafia. If you don't worship Don Robolini, then you're gonna get done. And I'll send Arcane personally to whack you.
As quiet as a monster.
Nobody in this game is gonna go against Don Robolini, okay? That's how I run my clan. Well, alright, next. And Neo Wolf, of course I'm gonna kill it. This is my build. You use my build, you can kill anything. Well, we could also do it. We could also do it like We could also technically do it like that, yeah. I don't mind doing it like Dune. I'm gonna skip the... Actually, I've got a lot of amorphous for him. I shouldn't skip Devour. Well, considering this isn't an ARPG and this is more of a looter shooter, I think if they ever implement that system disco video, what people would do is they would table flip first and then we'd lose half our player base. So no, that'll never happen. A couple of people might play it, but considering this game is all about progression and the progression grind is not actually that short, I don't think that's going to happen. And Greg, you feel that Serena's weak? You're welcome to your opinion, but I would suggest you actually check out my videos and how to build her. And no problem, Tenor Dude. I'm sure you are keeping an eye on me. What else can you do, right? You gotta always watch the stuff. Now, let's take a look at the polls. 196 votes so far. By the way, guys, if you haven't liked the stream yet, please do. And if you haven't registered me as your creator yet, please do. Here's the link. Nightbot's going to put it up. Hit that link. Register me, all right? The more supporters I have, the more I can do for you. 45% of the polls think she's good for the game. 32% think she's OP, but no nerf. Right now, we're looking at 16% who say she's OP and nerf her now. But again, can I please get some of these people who are voting for that option? Can you guys talk about why you want Serena nerfed? Talk about it. We're here to have a discussion. Can't have a discussion if you just vote and run, because it means you're scared of saying your opinion. We're here to discuss, so tell us.
This is divine punishment. We can do it.
There seem to be quite a few people in multiplayer for once. That's not bad.
A victory for humanity.
Tournaments involve PvP. And even a PvE tournament, we're gonna need clans for that. I'm all for the tournament idea if it's purely PvE, but even then, we're gonna need a clan system first. I'd be okay with that, but we need a clan system so that we can, you know, have healthy, friendly competition. Well, I'm glad you're satisfied with that 240 lifestyle, but the problem is that people play the same thing over and over, they get bored. Yes, it is, Rufino. Yes, it is. And what's next for this game? They have to decide their direction. That's what's next for this game. They need to first decide their direction and what they want to do. Then they need to execute it. That's my thoughts, Nick, which is why I have these discussions with people. Because I like to hear. I like to know. I like to just hear what people think and listen, because I think that's important. And Shay and I could be okay with that, but I think no matter how easy you make it and no matter how much time you give people to build up, the content creators, like those that are desperate to get their videos out, they'll have it done in the first day. Me, I'll probably take 3 or 4 days, I'll test it, then I'll have it ready for the average man to be able to do. And then the ones who never watch any of that will still be crying. So that's the only problem I see with that. I'm down for it. I would love to see some things locked behind co-op play only. Epic, I'm going to worry about that in about 87 days. There's still 87 days in this season, so no reason to talk about that now. I don't know what it's going to be used for, but, you know, I think we should speculate when it's closer to the date. We still have 87 days of this season left. Greg, Serena does more damage than Haley or Glay. I'm sorry, but I think you just didn't build her correctly, because if you actually examine it, Serena does way more damage than Haley or Glay. Just an FYI. And B. Ramsey, I'm sure that their narrative is there. The devs did tease it after all, and I agree with it, but like I said, right now it's in 87 days. We shouldn't be talking about that right now. And listen, Nick, I'm all for that. That's what people want. Lord knows why it isn't happening, but people have been asking for that for ages.
Ask twice as a monster.
Not that. Look, Syra, I understand the frustration, but that's not fair to them because, quite frankly, they do have plenty of plans and they've already teased a lot of them. So, I'm gonna have to be real with you. They do have plans, and they've already laid out what's gonna happen with season 3. The only reason I'm tabling that discussion is because there's no point right now. It's a long time away. Those characters do have potential, but it's not. I don't think it's that there's too much fan service. It's that those characters got left behind because of power creep, and the devs are struggling to come to grips with that. For Crab, good to see you. It's been a while. I'm glad to have you here. All right. Now, while I continue with my boss tour and have some discussions with you, because on a boss tour I don't have to ever think, right? Here's my latest music. Don't forget to check it out. And Assassinu, you can literally turn all the so-called blinding effects off, dude. Bro. Display settings. Show explosion effect during combat. Hide all targets. Blinding is off, dude. If you don't turn this option off, you're screwing yourself over, and everyone knows about this option. I have posted about it multiple times in shorts, TikToks, things like that. I don't think so, Damien. But you're welcome to your opinion. And no, nerfs are not the way to go. I agree on that, Sahil, but here's the problem. What are we gonna do then? What are we doing to shout down the people that constantly ask for nerfs? And what are we doing to shout down the people that cry about every single challenge? What action are we taking to stop them? Other than you guys having this discussion with me. Because here, I'm here to listen. But if you don't mind me saying, who has the cojones to actually go fight those people in Discord? Who has the cojones, or if you want to put it in
Impudent bastard.
more Singapore slang, who has the lampa to go and do that in the official Discord? Because that's where the problem is. They've got free reign over those communities.
Ask twice.
You'll never be able to please everyone, but I think that a lot of us, as much as we have good ideas, we're just not taking that active stance. It's really easy to discuss it here with a person like me, because people can call me whatever they want. They can call me egomaniacal, arrogant, I've got an attitude, whatever, but I'm actually here to listen. I'm a very fair and balanced listener. I won't go on certain topics, but I'm a fair and balanced listener, which is why people feel comfortable sharing their opinion here. But that's not going to be the case in Reddit and Discord, and I think that's where people are missing out, because they're not fighting for what they want. By the way, Nightbot just put up my creator support link. If you haven't hit that link yet, or if you hit it more than a month ago, please hit that link. Register or renew your support. The more supporters I have, the more I can do for you. Please do that. Well, it is actually flying, but you have to build her for the farming build so you can literally fly. Because with the farming build, you can actually literally fly. I have to say that for the sake of fairness. It is a soaring effect, but you can actually fly in a chosen direction almost freely on the same level that Kyle would fly. So I don't know, Syra. I don't know. I make it a personal rule to never participate in official Discord things, because why? If I sort of represent a company, and if I work on stuff, I choose not to get my boots too dirty, because I feel that there must always be some separation. All right, it's a professional thing. I never do it for any of the games. I participate only in official creator discords, which this game I don't believe they have. They only have a singular discord, which is fine by me. And that's the only statement I'll agree with. You can't really please everyone. A game for everyone is a game for no one. They need to decide what they want their game to be. You can pray for that, Damien. And Burbuja, I mean, you gotta ask yourself, why do you think people want to kill bosses in 5 seconds or less? Do you want to know why? It boils back to the point of grind. Why are people doing bosses in the first place? Open amorphous, right? Imagine if you go in a co-op group of 4 and they let you open 8 amorphous at once. Feels a lot better for looting. What if you go in a co-op team in like the 400% and they give you 6 amorphous to open instead of just 2? When you start multiplying loot, people will naturally start to gravitate toward whatever gives them the most loot. The reason why we're speedrunning is because several people have already mentioned in chat, we're literally stuck doing the same thing over and over and over again just to open our amorphous, just to get our loot, and it's way faster to do it in less than 5 seconds than it is to do it in a full team. That's the problem. I don't think Serena was made for erosion. In fact, that role goes to Glay. Glay was sitting in gathering dust on a shelf, so they literally made the erosion so that Glay would be relevant. They introduced weapon cores so that gunplay descendants like Glay would be relevant. Glay even left Haley in the dust with weapon cores because her unlimited ammo could take advantage of Last Dagger. Last Dagger was specifically buffed for Glay, so it's not that Serena was made for Void Erosion Purge 21 to 30, FYI. 21 to 30, I mean, we were already clearing 30s long before Serena. It's just that people didn't want to build up Glay. See, that I agree with, Burbuja, but you can't just reward people for the current difficulty. They need to change the difficulty first, and then change the reward. I agree with both. Like, I would honestly love to see a tormentor that takes 2 to 5 minutes to kill, so we actually have to interact with its attacks, so we actually have to dodge and fight it, but give us a massive reward at the end. That's the key thing. That's what they don't get here. They've made it such a fast speedrun solo experience that we have the problems that we have now. Hello, So6. Have you finished building my builds? The game name is the First Descendant.
We can do it.
You know,
Ask what?
the Obstructor was one of the bosses you had to have a team for. Now, you don't need that. See, I was one of the first ones to suggest that, Greg. I said, why don't we have boss phases instead of this crappy system of them randomly going into frenzy just because we did a lot of damage? That's artificial. That's artificial difficulty. If we actually had phases to a boss, like first phase, the boss does this, you wipe him out. Second phase, the boss changes, you wipe them out with that. And Razgriz, I already posted a video on it. You can check that out, or you can just see what you're seeing here, but I suggest you check out the video. Yes, they do, Goku. And Syra, everyone agrees that Deathstalker was a cool fight. And it's one of the only remaining fights in the game with actual mechanics. But that's the whole thing. People still be crying and complaining about that. Of course people forget about that, Alexandru. They never experienced it. People like to complain about everything. That would go too far, Damien. Because I agree with multiple phases. I disagree that you need to lock it to a certain character. Because unless we have a role queue in this game, which again will never happen, you can't do that. And literally, can you imagine half your team? Like, characters can be built skill or gun, right? What if half of your team is useless for like that entire phase? That's not fair to them either. It's no fun watching somebody else play, right? So I would have to be against that idea. I'm okay with phases, but not okay with that idea. Remember, overcomplication's no fun for people either. It has to be fun. Can't be too simple, but can't be too complex. It's a balancing act. Is Eugen good? Up to you. He's just a support character. I don't use him. And Barbuja, absolutely. I would like to see longer missions that require co-op, but again, it all boils down to how are we going to get people to cooperate in the first place. The boss does have more health with more people. I melted him because my build is good, and Serena is very, very strong.
New subscriber detected.
Welcome, new subscriber. Yeah, I've tried 4 men on Tormentor. The only thing I want to say, Tyler, is that you can play Eugen, but you are literally just a support character. You're not the main DPS. Basically, all the other 3 characters are doing the damage. So anyone that's asking about that, just be aware that you are literally signing up to do nothing but support. I don't judge easy or difficult, Venaldini. My build is damn good, and you know that. But I don't judge easy or difficult. My only job is very simple. I'm just here to get my loot while talking to you guys. I don't actually care about difficulty. To me, difficulty doesn't exist in this game. It's not that sort of game for me. Venom, they nerfed everything in the game already.
Don't get in my...
No problem. See you later, Fail.
We can do it. A victory for humanity.
I think all male characters need some love. That's where I'm at. I think it's quite unfair that they've been left in the dust. You're welcome not to debate, Tyler, but I am here to give accurate information, and we should always do that. If you make a statement, you could be leading somebody down the wrong path. So do not give misinformation. If you say you did something, you gotta also give the person the circumstances that you did it under. If you did it solo with Eugen in 5 minutes, then that's fine. But I don't think he did. Because he's not that sort of character, and I think we both know that. So we gotta be fair to people. When people ask, is a character good? Our job, or at least my job, is to give them accurate information. And that's why I'll never just let somebody say something. All right? It's got to be accurate at all times. You can say, I don't want to debate, that's fine. But when a person asks for an answer, you always give it in full detail. Well, energy activators and catalysts being less grindy is kind of a thing because they're so necessary for everything. Hello, Unc. How you doing? Well, Barbuja, you imagine spending on Valby of all people. Like, really? Valby? And unfortunately, Eric, that is true. Because the fastest runs are like, what, 4 Serena or something? I think they did like 2-3 minute runs. It gets crazy. So it's hard to beat DPS right now because there's no content in the game that requires another role. They need to start by fixing that. But unfortunately, the other roles are also neglected. We have all of 2 tanks and literally 2 healers, and one of them is Jaber. Barbuja, if you take a good look at Valby, she's a total psychopath. I mean, if you find psychopaths cute, that's okay, but I'm telling you right now, right? That girl's gonna murder you in your sleep. Well, Luna is a buffer. She's not really a... I guess you're right. She's not a healer, she's a buffer, so... That's fair to say.
We will not fail. A victory for humanity.
Have you seen her eyes, Barbuja? Look at her eyes. That's not cute. She's a psycho, man. I'm telling you. She will kill you in your sleep. I know women, and I know what Valby is. You can't tell me otherwise, man. Hey, if you like that, V4. She is absolutely yandere. That's the problem. She is absolutely yandere. She doesn't just have dead eyes. She's got those eyes that tell you she's gonna mess you up. And sorry, Percraft, I saw your message. Jay Wee? Who's Jay? No problem, Charles. I'm here to help the community. That's what I do. That is what I do. Any tips for keyboard and mouse? Practice, 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 practice. You need to have your fingers, you know, ready to operate at any point in time. So practice, 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 practice. That's the only thing. That's the only tip I'll give you. World events would be nice to have, but the problem is, what kind of world events are we gonna have? If a world event spawns, think of it this way, right, Neo? I get what you're saying, and I'd be really down for that, except the world event spawns, everybody's gonna equip their Serena and go into that world event and immediately annihilate it. Serena built for Tormentor. It's on my channel, dude. Posted it 3 days ago. Head over to my YouTube channel. It's all there. Those of you who say the crazy ones are good in other ways, if you tried dating a real crazy woman, you might want to try that, pal. Per crab, I appreciate that, but the dude was asking on TikTok. If you don't see the person asking on YouTube, you don't have to post that, but thank you. All right. You got to check before posting. Well, in that case, I don't think your wife will enjoy hearing you say that. See you later, Damien. She's not really a skin seller. None of the other skins work on her. She's just got one skin, which is her old skin. So I don't think she's the new skin seller, to be honest. I think more people bought the new Glaze skin than they did the Serena skin, if I'm perfectly honest.
Into the light. Windshield system down. A victory for humanity.
That's true. Bunny and Glay, absolutely. Damage dealt. 104 million. Not bad. You know, it's funny. I play this right now, and then people are asking, where's your build? Like, I literally already posted that. Also, Barbuja, please take note. We have a clean stream policy. Don't be posting messages like that, okay? Keep it clean. That's what we do here. That's okay. Just make sure you don't do it again. You know, Per Crab, I'd actually like to see that, though. They should let her at least have the twisted worship. She deserves that much. Any kind of weapon can be introduced, but what the hell is a slash weapon? And what the hell is a radiation weapon? What are you thinking? V4? No, it did not. The only thing I put into it is arcade tuning. I will probably do a refresher course on it later this week. I'll tell you, if you want a challenge, play Monster Hunter. I'll be playing it tomorrow, and even then, there are ways to limit your challenge. Have you seen my paralyzed dual blades? If you haven't, check out tomorrow's morning stream, because I'm going to go ham with those. I'm loving them so much right now. They're crazy. Just look for my Glay and Last Dagger build V4. That'll help you the most. It's better to just farm Ultimate Bunny Kartik. Always get the skins, because you can't get skins for free in this game. But you can always get Ultimate Bunny for free. And it's more worth it if you farm her yourself. But I mean, at the end of the day, the choice is yours. Fair enough. Let's keep the Warframe stuff out of this game, shall we? We shouldn't be looking at this game and trying to take what's in Warframe. Well, team-based Tormentor. And I only got to deal 36 million damage. How lovely. Paralysis is so good, but not on every weapon, no. Obviously on the heavy bowgun, light bowgun, I don't use paralysis. I can, but I don't because you're limited on the ammo, so there's no point. I like to use it on things like dual blades, all that kind of stuff, because it works a lot better. An AoE Glay build? Yeah, it's called a rocket launcher finesse. Restored Relic plus Glay, that's your AoE right there. The new hand cannon is pretty fun on Glay. I'll be working on it tonight. Well, no, ability-based Glay would not be recommended right now. You may as well just get a rocket launcher and start blasting.
This is divine punishment. I will rise.
Yeah, no such thing as a challenge. when it is better than a restored relic, which it isn't. So there you go. Because if I have to spend my HP to cast that, I'm not wasting my time. With all due respect. Back on tour. You know, we've had 248 votes so far. That means over 30 people have said Serena's OP and she needs to be nerfed now, but none of them have participated in our discussion. I'm still waiting to hear from those people. 46% think she's good for the game. 31 says she's OP, but they don't want to nerf, which is fair enough. And 7% saying Serena's weak. Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Sticky nade launchers can one-shot some bosses, but not all of them, fortunately. They're still not that great. No, there's nothing wrong with easy mode farming. But I think that I don't know if it would actually hold or retain a player base. Now that's a difficult question.
Impudent bastards! Give up. Ask twice as a monster.
New subscriber detected.
Well, you know, Eric, that's kind of been my argument for a long time. I've always stated that the people who are complaining do it just to complain sometimes. Sometimes I don't think they actually know what they're complaining about. And, you know, I welcome any opinion that Serena is balanced, but I do have to say that just for the sake of fairness, she is, in my expert opinion, OP is shit because, quite frankly, have you seen how much damage her skills do? Nobody's ever on that level, so I do have to at least say that she is pretty damn strong. I don't want her nerfed, but I think she is pretty damn strong. Miles better than a lot of others. Sometimes, Burbuja, people do that. They literally just sit around and complain for no reason because that's the only, like, small amount of joy that they have in their life. And it feels so sad sometimes because why do that? Why try and ruin somebody else's fun, you know? Hello, Kahiao. Yes, I'm doing very well. Can't complain at all. Now, ladies and gents, as I walk through these bosses in the shadow of death, don't forget to check out my latest music, yeah? It's all available on SoundCloud for you guys. Well, I did say, Cobra, don't invest in non-ultimates, but at least you can now transfer the progress, right?
Into the light. I have punished the wicked.
I'll tell you, if I ever saw Serena healing, I would go up and murder that Serena. I would say, why aren't you doing damage? Do some damage. Give him a smack. Give him a smack. Her skydive build, I mean, it's just designed for leveling and farming. She was always designed as more of a gunplay character. I think they only made that so that people would have an easy time leveling her up. But you're right. It's, in actuality, not all that great. It's okay. Allergies are murdering me. That's another one of the complaints that people are complaining about. They say that every single female descendant is so much stronger than every male, and I mean, I kind of agree. But that's how it is. Jaber the meme will rise someday, maybe. We can always hope for that. Yeah, that's completely fine, Raz. Everybody's got their own opinion. Yeah, just switch around. I think the opposite way. I say keep the Guitar Hero minigame, but make it useful. Like, if she got stronger and stronger, the better you played, people would actually bother figuring out Luna just to play her. Give enemies some sonic death. I'd be down for that. But she's styled as a support. No. I want her styled as a DPS where you play Guitar Hero, kill bosses fast. That being said, even if they did do that, people go to the one-shot characters, so no dice on that. Like, imagine you play through the fire and the flames with Luna and you absolutely deal like insane amounts of damage. That might be cool. You can always hope for that, laid back.
Into the light. Open fire. Purification.
No, you're right. People don't want to get better. That's why I say these discussions tend to end up going in circles. They don't want to get better. They just want it easy. That's the whole issue. I mean, I like these discussions, but, you know, it always boils down to the same thing. We are in a situation where we want challenge. We do. I love it. I want challenge. Believe me, I want challenge, but where challenge? How to challenge? We bo challenge. Bo means no. So we have no challenge, but why we bo challenge? Because people just don't want it. Enduring Legacy hasn't been good in 10,000 years, my friend. Nah, I'm just kidding. But Enduring Legacy was not good ever since weapon cores were introduced because it's got less useful weapon cores than the Albion cavalry gun. Listen, Squackism, I already said, what Jaber needs is to become the Punisher. His turrets need to be able to shoot through walls. He got to go full Frank Castle. And if you trigger his fourth skill, he pulls out, just like Frank Castle's ult in Marvel Rivals, he pulls out 2 miniguns, rocket launcher, starts blasting. But anyway, prior to the cores, Babuja, Enduring Legacy was used by everyone, so they had to change it up. That's why they introduced the cores. But when they introduced the cores, they made Enduring Legacy useless. So there you go. You win some, you lose some, unfortunately. Now, if they made certain cores operate independently, you see, here's the big problem. The cores like the purple cores, they're totally useless on all guns because although it says 550% damage, it's not saying that it's going to increase your damage to that faction by 500%. Otherwise, those guns would be the best. I feel that they should make them operate without the additional attack. Don't have to roll additional attack against that faction, but if you have that purple roll, you can choose a faction and kill them. I think that'll be really great. You could turn each gun into a faction killer. I want that. You know, that way certain guns are designed as killers for certain factions. I'd be down. I'm down with that, Daniel. Just that we got 87 days left in this season, you know, and as much as I like the league stuff, I'm hoping that they focus a little bit on this season too. Because there's lots of words, lots of ideas and thoughts flying around everywhere. I legit thought it was dead, then I realized, oh wait, it's still got a hit point bar. Oh crap. Lol, I turned off my ascension. That wasn't very smart of me. Hey, Lawbreaker. Oh no! Almost screwed these poor people over. I hope you're doing good today, pal. I mean, mobile turrets, flying turrets, all these have been thrown out as ideas for Jay, but I don't know why they won't do them, because they're great ideas. And you know, with Valby, she needs speed. You know, I kind of like the idea of her turning into water and doing that. It's too slow. When she goes water form, you guys ever seen what Morphling? You know his character Morphling from Dota 2? Yeah, I kind of want that, but for Valby, her third skill should cover a very wide distance and be like a tidal wave. She just rushes forward, splashes the whole area, you know? I think that'll make her a lot cooler. So she moves a long distance and you can control it to some extent, but it needs to be very fast like a tidal wave. Speed is crucial for her because that will help her keep up with speedrunners. Then her second skill, which is teleport, needs a much wider area. Same with her first skill. As long as she gets a lot of range, I mean, it's water. She needs to bring the whole ocean with her. That's what Valby needs, in my personal opinion. And now, once again, shameless self-promotion. Don't forget to check out my latest song, all right? My latest song is hot. And if you haven't heard it, then you got to get there and start hearing it. Because there's more good stuff coming for you. Yeah, but she still has to move manually. That's the problem. If she didn't have to move manually, I think if like, or if you did, but it was much faster, it would be way better. I can't on stream because I'm having a discussion and my songs have lyrics, so it's hard to enjoy lyrics while having a conversation. But you can listen to my songs anywhere. I just usually won't on TFD because, you know, active discussion. You're not really going to enjoy the lyrics while we're having an ongoing discussion. It's Lepic's suck grenade, by the way. Enzo doesn't have that. And, well, Daniel, I don't know. I'm hoping that they buff Ultimate Blair because they kind of need to do that. Dude, if they gave Luna Valby's fourth ability, Jeff the Shark, it would be pretty cool. During a toilet break, I wouldn't mind, Sir Tommy. I'll think about it. Well, Burbuja, they have a lot of improvements to make to the older Descendants, and that's kind of the problem. Serena is fluid, and I like that. Serena is a liquid. She is some nice liquid refreshment that you can slurp down on a hot day. But the point is, we, as a whole group of people, we haven't put enough pressure on the devs to rework the older characters. And when they rework them in a small, tiny way because everybody's always complaining about balance. I think we need to tell the devs maybe a sweeping rework would be better. Start giving them some real ideas. Lawbreaker, just bring the Ancient Knight, murder him. Better that you do that. No waste time teaching. Just bring the Draco out and start busting heads, man. I think it'll be better. And also, people don't read chat. You should know that better than anyone. They could rework the transmods instead of a direct nerf, but no, I think they need to directly rework the character. And of course the transmods too. Neo Wolf, if you want to turn him into Human Storm, you have my vote. I'd say let him, his first skill is he throws his fire somewhere, right? It'll ignite the area and create a moving fire tornado. I'm down for that. I want to see him go Johnny Storm on people's asses. Maybe he can't fly, but I wouldn't mind that. I mean, Burbuja, you think Freya's boring to play, but a lot of people find her to be the most fun. They like that. It's not just because she's cute. They enjoy playing Freya. Like, if you talk to people, genuinely, it's not just that they like the look. I mean, some people do, sure, but they're actually in the minority. Most people that main or pick a particular character is because they just like what that character can do. There are still people to this day, despite how inefficient she is, they love playing Viessa. So that's the thing, you know, people, they just like what they like. Some may not like it, some may like it, but they like what they like. We'll see, Raz, we'll see. I'd be interested in looking into it. Waiting for matchmaking. But at least, you know what? I'm actually glad to see people in matchmaking. That for me is cool. The problem with Viessa is more her cooldowns and mana management. At least for me. That's why she can't keep up with a lot of other characters. Just too slow. Range on her ability is too short. She needs more massive AoE. That unfortunately is the wait monster. Either you wait the time or you spend the dollars. Frostwalker used to be one of the hardest bosses in the game. They nerfed him into the ground because everybody kept complaining. That's why we don't have difficulty. We literally don't have difficulty because as soon as any difficulty exists or is introduced, alright, players cry, complain, whine, whatever else. That's what makes me wonder, you know. Why do people play video games if not for, like, I mean, people always say that I play to relax, but surely you want some challenge as well. You know, you need something to stimulate you. Otherwise, what are you playing for? You're just playing like a zombie. You're playing while you're dead inside, and that's not really very fun. You see, Raz, interesting mechanics like that would be cool. Interesting mechanics like that, like maybe not every character has to use MP. What if Blair builds up heat and his fourth skill, when you build up enough heat with all his other abilities, turn him into like this heat machine, and different ways to empower his abilities. Like, these are exciting and interesting ideas.
You ready to
They don't have to go with
undertake a
MP
void
for every single
intercept
character.
assignment?
They can create new and interesting ways to play if they want to. Exactly, Daniel. That's the problem. So I would personally like to see Blair as like a freaking fireball wizard gone crazy. Uses RK continuously, and the more RK he generates, the more his heat builds up. More heat, he can deal more crits. But you get your heat too high without venting it, you explode, and Blair goes down. You know where I got that mechanic? Different game, but it works. So if you can try and keep Blair at like high heat, he's going to be critting on every hit, but you risk literally just downing yourself. So you got to have this nice build up. You got to know what to do, and then when is the particular time to vent. I'd say that would be perfect. Then his Transcendent mods could center around different ways to adjust his heat, change the way it works. I don't know if Ember does this, but this was actually a mechanic that the Bright Wizard has, the Fire Wizard has in Vermintide. Warhammer Fantasy Vermintide. Well, Squagism, that's because, you know what the argument is? Every time I post tutorials, guides, videos, people always tell me one thing. If I have to research outside of a game to learn, it's not a good game. I'm like, what game on the planet told you that you don't have to research a damn thing? Because quite frankly, no matter what game I play, I always research. Because one person cannot test everything by themselves. One person will not be told everything, and even if the game told you everything, it's going to be a whole mess of gobbledygook statistics that you can't even figure out. Most people can't even do basic math. The other day, somebody had to ask me, like, literally a basic math question. There's some people that are like, I don't like math, I've never liked math. Like, how do you even do your taxes? How much are you losing in doing your taxes? That's how it is. That's how it is. And it's stupid. But that's the argument that people will post up. So if that was not the case, I would happily love to see, more people consulting my tutorial vids, things like that, but people just don't care. People these days, they want to just sit down in front of the game, beat it. Why do you think so many stories on railroads? Why do you think that there's so many stories out there, so many games out there that just literally go in and you just mess around and you're good to go? It's literally on rails. You get to the end, you win. Congratulations. Think about what's that game? Senua Hellblade 2 or whatever. I can't even remember the title. Hang on, I gotta get this right. Senua's Sacrifice, is it? Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. I played it from a girl live. It was a Sunday. We were just having a chill date. I played the entire game for her, finished in 6 hours. It was a story on rails. All I had to do was just go through the story. It was practically a walking simulator. Now, don't get me wrong. We thoroughly loved the story. It was like watching a movie from start to end. It was pretty darn great. I liked figuring out her story. I liked learning all these things. The voice acting was well done. I loved the graphics. It was beautiful. But it was over in 6 hours. But you know what? People praised it to the nines, and people love that game. Why? Because that's what they like. They like stories on rails. And that's actually true, Daniel. Do you know how many, I can see watch times on my channel. So, do you know that when a person asks me a question that I've already covered in my video, and my videos are thorough, I just take a look at the watch time. The average watch time for my latest video, let's just take a look. The average watch time for my latest video, okay, is 5 minutes and 45 seconds. How long is the video? 19 minutes. That means people are watching 1/4 of the video rather than even listening to explanations. Maybe they're all watching it on 2x speed, sure. But this means that people, and this is the average watch time, that means about 60% of people are literally just watching that. There'll be 20% that's watching less and 20% that's watching the full duration. That means only 20% of people have any idea of what something can really do. The rest, they watch 5 minutes and bounce. Excuse me. T, you can go and suggest that to devs and see what'll happen. It is the TikTok brain, unfortunately, but that's how it is. I mean, I love TikTok as a platform. I find it useful. It's a great place to post shorter videos, for me at least. That's why I post a lot of my information videos there. But I think that people who cannot sit and pay attention to a video, you know, they're gonna lose out. Yeah, listen, Razgriz, I would love to turn him into the Invoker from Dota. But I don't know if they can handle a system that complex. And then once you add that kind of system to Blair, all the people that just want it easy, they'll table flip. They're like, I can't even remember 3 numbers, bro. And you'll be on stream saying, why don't you just press 212? Like literally 212 is like he calls down a freaking meteor, you know? Exactly, Craig. They'll just grab my build and say like, how come this doesn't work? I did everything you said in your video. I'm like, are you sure? You just did it without listening to the explanation, didn't you? Because 95% of the time, that's exactly what happens. They'll do it without ever listening to my explanation, without ever even, like, you know, ever even trying to understand what I do. Just go in and there you go. Not just that, there's also explanations. I'll include explanations for why I do things, why I'm, you know, adding certain things into the build, and then it's so easy to replicate what I'm doing. You can do exactly what I'm doing, you can do it easy. I don't know about anything about Night Rain, to be fair. Should I do it for fun? Yeah, let's do it for fun. But unfortunately, yeah, at the end of the day, a lot of people, you know, they just, they never watch the full thing. They never care about the full thing. It would be nice if they did. And people will tell me, you know, a lot of people, they will tell me straight away, like, oh, you're just concerned about the revenue. That's why you want us to watch the full video. I'm like, bro, it's your funeral, man. I'm literally giving you all the guns, all the weapons, all the firepower, all the literal firepower that you need. You don't want that, you know, that's on you. But I've given you everything I have. It's crazy. Anyway, don't forget to register me as your content creator if you haven't already. The more people that register me, the better. And the more that we can probably do for others. So if you guys get the chance, hit that link. And if you registered me more than a month ago, hit that link. All right? And it is what happens in most games, unfortunately. That is how it is with video games. I mean, you write when you write, Hollywood. They always look for whatever is going to carry them and get them through the content without putting in any effort. Now, don't just be randomly smack talking a platform, okay? Whatever you feel about the platform, that's not the topic of conversation. I'm allowing you to be here, even though all you do is talk nonsense, Dark Death, but I'd really hate to have to throw you out. But if you keep it up, all right, I'm being nice by ignoring you, but I can't just throw you out. So, cool your heels. Well, unfortunately, Burbuja, that is how it is, because some people just don't want to deal damage. I mean, look at quick play in Marvel Rivals. Like, I'm not sure about that, Raz. I've never tested that. You have to find another Luna to test that with. So, sorry, I got no answer for you. Anyway, in Marvel Rivals, there are so many people that will just pick DPS. Like, I've been in ranked and people will just go DPS even though we need a tank. It's crazy. But that's what people do. Not really, Squagism. That's not why they nerf things. They nerf it because it's not that the speedrunners are loudest. The speedrunners don't have any problems, FYI. I do have to correct your statement there because I think it's quite important that you understand the speedrunners aren't the ones complaining. We speedrunners can do everything in 1 second. So what's the point? I can literally sit here with the ATOMs in one shot, Tormentor. So speedrunners aren't complaining and they're not the loudest, no. The ones who are the loudest are those with no skills and no ability to actually cope with the game. They're the ones who are being loud because what they want is for this game to be served up to them like an AFK game where they can just spend $100, pull their waifu, and then all of a sudden they're king of the arena. You know, top in the server.
Purification.
That's reality. And yeah, the devs put a lot of DPS characters in Rivals, but hey, it's still a person's choice to play what they need, right? Of course, there's no such thing as an easy level Deathstalker, dude. But everyone kills things in seconds these days. Here, hardest boss in the game, Tormentor. Let's go into public and see what happens. Sure, Raz, go ahead and test. But anyway, I think you guys understand that poor social skills or poor understanding of even reading a room or participating in a room is not unique to video games. There's a lot of people, even here, that can't even read a room, don't know how to even socialize or be a part of a discussion. It happens. That's life. The problem is when those people start making suggestions and get taken seriously. Arcade tuning, I don't think will be reset every season. It appears to be a progression-based system. However, this is the first season we have with it, so we'll only know next season, okay? But I don't think it's going to get reset because I'm not grinding my arcade tuning again. I think people will just literally flip the table. You can be a solo player, Derek. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think games are pretty boring playing alone. I like to hunt or kill with people. Isn't Smite a dead game? Like, forgive me for saying, but isn't that the one that they pulled support for? They just introduced Smite 2, didn't they? I remember Smite 1, like, is being taken offline. Same with, what was it called? Paladins. High res, man, they had such potential at the start, but they're pretty much garbo now. Hello, Atish.
I will rise. It is time for your judgment. We will not face the flames. Into the light.
But yes, bad manners will never be exclusive to TFD, I think, you know? I think that bad manners are just a video game thing. I used to make content for Paladins laid back. I used to do builds and shit. Now I would show people, okay, so here's how you build up your Tyra. You know, you throw your firebomb. Here's how you get max damage. You can go in there and gun everybody down. I used to teach people, okay, so this is my con build. You can literally just back up to a wall, hold your shield practically forever, and just never get down. And that gives your entire team, you know, time to come back. Nice, Raz. Now that you know, you can now figure out some fun stuff to do with that. Dude, I put a core into every single gun, but I don't have any use for Blue Beetle currently. I have no need for it currently. If in future I've got a need for it, I'll build it up then. Brett, no, I haven't. But realistically, the only new NS build is actually just my NS build. All you do is add more cooldown onto it by using the arcade tuning tree. So you can use it if you want to, and of course you can put cooldown on your reactor too, and get it from your external components. But I mean, it's up to you if you want to do that. I think she goes fast enough without that. But it's your choice. For me, I like the way that she is currently because I like the damage that she deals. But you can go ahead and try that if you want. I mean, end of the day, it's your choice. It's not a new build. It's just something that people started putting together because of the arcade tuning tree. But I don't really want people to have to reinvest in a character if it's not necessary. So I'm happy enough to keep my Serena the way she is. Or rather, the way I designed her. Oh man, holy hella lag. That's the reason why I haven't designed her around the new one, because until we get reactor rolls, farming a whole new reactor is like literally painful. Oops. Darn. Did these people all die? They brought something different in and all of them went down, damn. They could have just given me the time to yeah, that isn't gonna work. Okay, this guy got it. Come on, come on, come on. Oh, come on! Ah, oh, damn it. We're just going in circles here. That's crazy. Yep. Yeah, that's why you can't really go down in this type of thing. That's what happens when you build an incorrect build. I dealt 204 million damage in that run. Still wasn't enough. I did all the DPS I could. But 4-man team, yeah. You don't need a Eugen. I mean, you can do this in 6 seconds if everyone's prepared, but you know, this I don't think is a reason why you need Eugen. This is just people going in with 0 builds. Pretty much, yeah. Although that is kind of, I guess, the fun of it. No, it actually does lower your damage per Buja. It's been proven. If those guys had actual guns, this would be over. Because earlier I was in a Tormentor team, and we almost had him finished. You know, we almost had him finished. And nah, I'm not built for the heals of the grounded alt. Oh, you're talking about Eugen. No, I'm not built for that, because I'm built for just damage and then, you know, smash. That's it. By the way, laid back, just call me robot. Don't say get 3 other Asian Serena builds. Never ever call me Asian, alright? If you address me by my race, YouTube doesn't take too kindly to that. So, laid back, you might want to retract that message. In future, you want to address me, just call me robot, dude. It's healthier for you as well. So please do not ever call me by my race. That I know it's in my name, but you gotta follow the rules here. And that's one of the rules. Never ever call me by my race. It will go badly for you. I'm gonna say that straight. Because I'm allowed to name myself whatever I want. All right. Most people in polite conversation understand that you don't address somebody by their race. I hope that's not too complex for you. Thanks for understanding, laid back. I mean, think about it this way, all right? Let's be straightforward for a second, Jay. Let's say you have a black guy that literally just called themselves Black Mamba. Would you call them Mamba, or would you call them by the first word when addressing them directly? Think about how it would sound in public if you saw that guy across the street and just yelled out the first part of their name. I don't think we should do that. Similarly, just because I'm called Real Asian Robot, if you saw me on the street, would you walk up to me and say, "Hey, Asian"? And assuming I did not know you, I think that would go down pretty badly, all right? So, how about we use people's names? Yeah? I'm sure all of you guys were raised to have proper conversations. I'm sure we don't need to ever use that. Actually, I did not think about that, Burbuja. You're right. I should use the first ability. I won't use the ultimate ability on the ground, but you're right. I should have used the first ability. Actually, that was my bad. I should try that. You can call me RAR. There's a dozen ways to call me, man. Some people call me Real. Some people call me RAR. Some people call me whatever. Max weapon level is 40.
Descendant. Death to the blasphemous. Oh no. Descendant.
Nice and easy, even without the ult. Done.
I am purification.
Weapon level is 40. There's no such thing as gear score here, Derek. Good night, Brandon. $169 million. And also to the guy that changed his name to that, you just got banned from my stream. You won't be able to interact anymore. Next time, don't troll me when I say something. All right? We take it seriously here, and your viewership doesn't matter to me. So don't ever try and troll, because here, if you want to be disrespectful, we'll just throw you out. No, I do not, Derek. And what gun am I using? It's on my channel. This is the Ancient Knight. Check out the video on my YouTube. You can use Python, not a problem. I'm not a big fan of it because its mag capacity is a little off, but you can adjust it however you like. Most glaze don't build my builds, Vindy, so of course they're not going to deal damage. How do you expect the glade to deal any damage when they don't have a robot build? Dude probably came in here using recommended modules and decided to fight. Like, that happens, man. When you're in public, you know, you accept the rules of the public. Public's the jungle. Maester's right. Only 20% of people can even finish watching a video of mine. Alright? 20% of people are going to finish watching the full video. So that means that there's 80% of people running around with a half-baked robot build that they just copied, don't even know how to use, and the other 20% don't even know how to use a build. So your chances, the odds, they aren't in your favor. I'll be real with you about that.
We can do it.
Wow, they're dealing like no damage on this one.
Reloading.
And this is how some people get by. They don't actually want to play the game. They're not here to play the game. They're just here to get carried.
As close as a monster.
Thanks, Squagism. I always make sense. These guys just literally leeched. I did 264 million damage by myself. So what does that tell you? This is one of the only reasons you'll ever hear me be against multiplayer. Because a lot of people, unfortunately, they are literally just leeching off others, and that's not fair to the people that spend their time building up. It really isn't. There's nothing wrong with enjoying that, if that is indeed what you enjoy. By the way, their silly event is bugged. The 2 hours, it's more than 2 hours. I've noticed that you have to play up to 3 hours because I've already been streaming for more than 2 hours. I've been streaming for 2 hours and 26 minutes, and I still didn't get the Catalyst reward. I hate that it's bugged like that.
New subscriber detected.
They actually need you staying on this game for 3 hours.
Go on, I'm waiting.
They need to fix that. Not that I care because I've got plenty of catalysts, but still, they need to fix that. Exactly, there's no incentive to carry. I'm just spending my time for no reason. But the other thing is like boredom, you know? There is always that element of, at least if I play with people, it ain't that boring. So from that perspective, I can understand the incentive to carry. But sometimes where I can carry and I do carry, it feels like a disincentive because I'm not helping people get better. I'm helping people get worse. Is that really what I want to do? I don't know. Because quite frankly, it just feels like if I do help them do this, they're not going to improve themselves. They're just gonna go into missions, wait for Serena to turn up, and if the Serena can't even do it, then, you know, they're not even gonna try. Thanks for the heart on TikTok. Appreciate that. Also, you know what? You know what's funny? Can I just be candid with you guys for a second? You know, a lot of people say they can't make money on this game, which is why people left. Did you know that I'm feeding my family practically off this game alone? Because my Monster Hunter Wilds content hasn't taken off yet, and I haven't worked on a lot of Marvel Rivals content yet. Do you know I'm feeding my family practically solely off this game and the fact that you guys are watching videos? Now, of course, I do have some great sponsors like Lawbreaker, CG, Percrab, you know, all the top tier channel members, Arcane, all those good folks that are, you know, really helping me out, keeping me in business and stuff. But I'm able to make a living off this game. So why aren't people with 2-3 times my viewership making a living off this game? I'll tell you why. When you pay for viewership, you don't make very much at all. I'm just gonna say that. You guys can think about it. And that's why a lot of people, a lot of creators ended up having to leave this game, because it's very common in the YouTube scene. They come in here, they pay for the views, they leave. Now, of course, some people quit for genuine reasons, but, you know, when you have content creators like that, why am I saying this? Because it also spoils the environment. When this game first started, you had a lot of content creators like that. Just paid for their shit. Ended up, they left as soon as things got hard. And as soon as the interest in this game sort of dipped in a bit. Then we ended up with the real community left. But people were still, you know, just unhappy in general.
I love the smell of gunpowder in Florida.
And I tried my best to make builds and stuff, but I think people just don't want to take this game seriously. Like, they don't want to build up their stuff for real. They just want it easy.
Death to the corrupt.
They like to drop a video every now and then to test the waters. They'll pay for it to be promoted on YouTube, and that'll be the end of the story. Or they can use several other websites out there that can get you tons of views. It's not hard. I mean, Twitch streamers getting caught out all the time for view botting, so like I said, it's not hard. Well, Sahil, I think I personally would also like to. Oh dear. Did I hit restart? Ah, crap. I don't want to restart. I wanted to go to the next boss. Whoops. But anyway, like on a personal level, I kind of agree with you. I don't really want to see the whole easy attitude, because at the end of the day, we do want some challenges in the game. We do want to, you know, at least enjoy the game a little bit, but that's how it is. That's how it is. That's life. That's existence. I don't think we'll get many people that want challenges these days because, and to an extent, I understand them, but I also don't like those types of people. See, mentally, now there's a lot of people that make excuses as well, but I'm just going to say this straight. Mentally speaking, a lot of these folks, they come home after work. I get it. They're tired. They don't want to be sitting around in a game playing for hours and hours and hours to not get what they want. They don't. I hear them. I hear what they're saying. I get it. I feel it. You know, fair is fair. But at the same time, you've got people that want to play this game actively. And I feel that, like, even when I was playing games and working as an accountant, I would come home. I don't like a game that's no challenge. You know, I still like to dive into it and find some fun, you know, in that thing. And I'm sure they would love to take that approach, Razgriz, but I don't think they have that kind of player base for this game. Because what is the one argument that I'm going to hear if people say something like that? They're going to say, if you want challenge, go play Dark Souls, bro. This is TFD. I'm here for the easy. Just go play your Dark Souls. That's literally what people say to me. Whenever I tell them that maybe you need a little bit of research, maybe you should follow a build, they're like, just go play Dark Souls if you want a challenge. This shouldn't be a challenge. It's like... And Nokula, I'm the same way. I don't mind Souls-likes, you know? I find them very interesting, especially when the enemies can really challenge you. Like Lies of P and all that. I dig that. But that's exactly what I'm saying, you know? Yeah. I think that maybe we need to look at systems whereby people can take an actual challenge. Lies of P was so fire. I loved every single second of it. My girl actually watched me stream the whole damn thing. Like, played it over 40 hours of it, and she watched all of it. I think they should make more Souls-like games based on fairy tales. I want to see the Lies of D. All right. What is the Lies of D? That is where you tell Dorothy's story. I can't wait for the DLC though. Yeah. I don't know if Dorothy's story will be in there though, but I hope that Dorothy gets her own franchise. Like, that'd be so cool. I mean, I'm sure they won't name it Lies of D because that'd be pretty offensive, but you know, I think it would be cool. First Berserker tomorrow. I don't really have time for single player, so I'll only play it if like somebody sponsors it for me or I get it for free or something, but for me, I'm just chilling right now. If they gave it to me for free to review, then sure, but Dude, did they ever call it Liza D? It would be super brain rot, man. Well, the catalyst is not a challenge. It's just 7 hours. They can craft one while they're at work and then craft one after work. You know my grapple movement trick? If you don't know Razgriz, you should be checking my YouTube shorts. Everyone knows the grapple movement trick. You just use that while you're floating. You gain a lot of momentum. Monster, follow the weapons that I use in my builds. That's the best advice that I can give you. Don't waste time with weapons that are not in my builds. You want to put cores in and build it up? Do I use it in my builds? Just ask yourself that question. Or if the build says no weapon required, don't worry about it. If the build says these weapons are required or you can use any weapon, look at what weapons that I normally use, build those. You want the best way? Imitate. Follow all the videos on my YouTube channel, and there you go. At a later time, maybe, but at this point, I've got no motivation for it. Like I said, maybe at a later time. I'm not too rushed about it, not too pressed about it for now. If I'm going to work on something, next on my list is Malevolent, which I'm going to work on in the evening. Start getting to work on it. Anyway, while we're waiting, in the meantime, here's my music. Don't forget to check it out if you haven't already.
All clear.
I'm going to share my music with the world, at least until it gets distributed. I'm still waiting for that, but, you know, hopefully I'll hear some good news soon.
We'll soon have some decent weapons thanks to some brave veteran. Isn't that great?
My buddy's sending me memes. That's kind of the thought process, Vindy. Right now, it's no real need for it. Anyway, I had my fun in multiplayer. I'm gonna go back to single player right now, go on my boss tour. But basically, you want to know how you're moving fast. Grapple, do your melee, and she will float fast. Then you just trigger this skill to stop all your momentum. Float up, shoot, done. There you go. And it's over. No problem, Neo Wolf. It is 3 p.m., 3:10 p.m. for me. Now, let's check in with the votes. Currently, we're at 322 votes. 46% think Serena's good for the game. 16% say she's OP, nerf her now. 31% say she's OP, but no nerf needed. 7% say she's weak. But the people that are for her nerf, I still haven't heard any logic from them. Like, they just voted and dipped. Like, share your logic, bro. I'd like to hear more. Sharon's okay, but I just couldn't see a reason to use her over several of the other farmers that already exist. Like, it's a cool concept. I like the concepts, but just didn't feel that great. In my personal opinion. Not really. Oh, and if you're still here, Chinese dude, by the way, please do not try and look for other players on my stream, whether on TikTok or YouTube. Unfortunately, that's not allowed, and I hate to have to ban you. It's one of the streamer rules. You should never look for people to play with in a streamer stream. I didn't know if you left, so I didn't say anything, but please don't do that again, yeah? Thanks. I appreciate that. But yeah, no, I'm just using the Ancient Knight for fun. Last Dagger is shorter range. Ancient Knight's got longer range, and you kill them about the same time. These are really weak bosses, so... That's fair, Vindy. Like I said, I don't mind a good discussion. I asked dozens of times, but all the people that said nerf her now, no explanations other than yours. So thanks for that. It's good to hear other opinions. But that being said, yes, the power creep right now, I can understand that perspective because it's very real. The power creep needs to be settled. We need to stop this whole situation of Descendants are getting stronger and stronger, because what's going to happen is that all the ones that are super strong are like just going unused. They are literally unused right now. That's not exactly the best thing to do.
It is time for your judgment.
Oh, doesn't need a nerf. Whoops, sorry. I thought you meant she did need a nerf. Sorry, I thought you held the opposite opinion. But, well, I'll say then in that case that I still haven't heard from anybody that says she does need a nerf. But I do want to hear some of their opinions. You know, Razgriz, funny that you say that, because that's what we've been saying from, guess what, day one. And that has never happened. I don't know why. I'm not sure why that has never happened, because it made sense to me. When we first had Ajax in the game as a tank, right? The first thing I asked when I got into game is, does his attacks have a taunt? No. Him generating a shield to block attacks from Colossi did nothing. I saw so many Ajaxes trying in games to protect their teammates, and they all failed because there was no way for them to actually do so. Doesn't matter how many times they put up their shield. Doesn't matter how many times they, you know, did this, did that. Doesn't really matter. It just didn't come. It just didn't come through at all.
I will cleanse this place.
Did you check the video, Mr. Brett? Did you watch the video thoroughly? Because if you didn't, you might want to start there, pal.
A victory for humanity.
Exactly. Tanks have no way of keeping aggro, so what am I supposed to tank? In fact, the enemies, the Colossi, can see through invisible characters, so what's the point of invisible? And John Mucci, you can use either weapon on Serena. Last Dagger is simply for those hyper fast boss kills if you want it. I'm doing the same with the Ancient Knight though. So you can build Albion Cavalry Gun if you want. I might look into that for the Void Erosion Purge, but I'm not there yet. My mindset and thoughts may change when I go experiment with it. I'm just not experimenting with it yet. Huh. I even played Exo Primal. That game was great. I used to love playing the shield dude, and I would power clash with the big Triceratops. Exo Primal was a great game. Too bad it never caught on. Died so quickly. I love that game. It's fun.
We will not fail. Death to the corrupt.
Anthem doesn't exist. It's dead. I'm pretty sure they took it down. Oh, holy crap. It's actually still playable. What the hell? Didn't know that. I thought they took it down. Lol. That amuses me. Well, I'm definitely not gonna pick it up, but yeah. It's amusing to find that Anthem still exists. I always thought they took the servers down, so that's news to me. The atoms, or as I like to call it with my Singaporean accent, the atamas. I don't find it OP at all. If you crit, you do good, and it's Serena's ability that does most of the damage anyway. If you don't crit, you're not gonna do shit.
I have punished the wicked.
Hell, I can show it to you right now. Here's my atamas. Crit build. Everything else is the same. Let's restart this fight. Basically, if you hit a crit, it's great. You don't, then eh. Oh yeah, Roadblock. That was its name. Yeah, I used to actually taunt by slamming the shield with Roadblock. Used to be a lot of fun. Exo Primal was cool, just I think bad execution.
I will cleanse this place.
I kind of liked it, but the PvE PvP aspect, I guess it got to some people. I used to use the samurai tank. That guy was fun.
Do not fall.
Hell, I missed that shot. And if I miss it and I don't crit, immunity. So the atoms, whatever you want to call it, that's the problem with it. You can use it, but if you happen to miss that shot, now of course that was a bad move on my part in Gluttony. You miss that shot, you don't crit, the enemy could frenzy. That's the only downside to it. If not for that downside, I think it'd be a cool gun. Because you can one-shot almost anything in the game. Just, did you crit or did you not crit? You didn't crit, then well. If you crit, then well. Listen, Raz, they nailed everything except the fact that they made their game somehow so unpopular. I still don't, to this day and age, understand what went wrong with Exo Primal. What actually went so wrong with Exo Primal? Because I don't get it. Why did this game fail? You know, I don't understand. And I will never understand why it failed.
Death to the
It
blasphemous.
was a fantastic game. You know, what, people don't like fighting dinosaurs? I think that's bullshit. Because everybody likes fighting dinosaurs.
I have punished the wicked.
So but see, you know, they say it's the same repetitive mode, but like each time, like other PvP games have the same thing. Other PvP games, you're literally what? How many times have I played? Think about it. How many times have I played the same damn map in Marvel Rivals, Overwatch? People didn't complain about that. The game is still online, but it's got like 16 players, so you won't really be able to do much. I think most of your matches will just be bot matches. Yeah, it just totally fell off. I don't think it's just that it was one mode. Something else went wrong there. I mean, if that was your reason, Brett, then I can completely accept that, but I think something just went wrong there. And yeah, I guess everybody wanted Dino Crisis, but I don't know. I thought it was a cool-ass game. Oh, well. And I like that sometimes in those missions, you'd have to actually, like, freaking combine your teams. So at first, you'd be racing against each other, then 10-man team have to fight against each other. I like the whole multiversal theory as well. Like, to me, that was freaking cool. Like, I think it was a great story with a well-executed theory to back it up. It just... Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it just wasn't Dino Crisis.
Ask twice as a monster.
Yeah, you're right. They didn't advertise it a lot. Like, they should have advertised it left, right, and center, you know? Put it on Games Pass and everything, and we were playing and having a great time, and then it just died off. I was getting ready. I was like, man, I can make some content for this. Like, I'm ready. You know, there's builds, there's things that I can do, but yep. Yep, that all went away. Sad, though, because I think all of us, to an extent, we all remember Exo Primal very fondly. Well, those of us who enjoyed it. We all remember it very fondly. Yeah, it just didn't do enough to shine, I think. That's the problem. It didn't do enough to shine. You know, I used to play the Witch Doctor, and I modded him so that I could... Although he was the support healer, dude, I would just go in and freaking kill everybody with my shock staff. I stunned everybody. I didn't care if you were like one of those like tanks or heavy dudes. I would just go in and shock the hell out of you. And that was that.
We will not fail.
That was your existence.
For humanity.
Witch Doctor was amazing, dude. Loved it. I would go in, heal, and then just bust on everybody. I was getting kills as the support. Now that is what I call awesome as hell. And that's a vibe. That's a serious vibe. I love it. The other one that I like was the grenade guy. Man, those who could play the grenade guy were freaking sick. He was another one that was just shredding everything. Loved it. Can't remember what his name was, but he blew the hell out of everything. It's practically Junkrat. The game was good. Very good game. But just a shame. It just wasn't popular enough. Didn't get popular enough. Didn't get big enough. Oh, dude, I would invade as like a tank and just absolutely wreck their shit. It was great. I loved invading. Sometimes I'd invade as Witch Doctor and absolutely wreck their shit too. I love that. Hassling the enemy team, now that never gets old.
Face the flames. Death to the corrupt.
I mean, I like Dark Tide. It's an interesting game, but it just doesn't pull the numbers, and that is mostly due to slow content releases. And don't forget, they have one of the worst human beings as a content creator for that game. Like, as long as that guy's there, I don't think I can return comfortably. I'll leave it to other people if they want to return and watch that guy, but him and his community, I just don't want to deal with that. It's not worth the stress. And quite frankly, I make more money here. I think his name was Barrage or something like that, yeah. Sounds about right. I mean, I do like Dark Tide occasionally from time to time, but I'm not going to invest my time in it. At least not right now. But yeah, I think Barrage could have been the grenade guy. He was just so good. I remember there were a couple other DPSs, but yeah. It was a fun game. It was a damn fun game. And I mean a damn fun game. Alright. I'm gonna BRB. I need to go to the washroom. In the meantime, like Sir Tommy suggested, I'm gonna play some of my music for you guys, alright? If you haven't heard my track yet, enjoy. Oops.
In the world of ivory whispers, a girl lost in shadowed fate. May we speak of destiny, echoes of love, whispers of hate. The apple gleams with dark delight. A choice awaits beneath the night. Snowflakes dance in freedom's light. Shattered chains replace the night. In harmony, a song will soar. A tale reborn forevermore.
Alright, if any of you like that, don't forget it's up on my SoundCloud right now. More of my music will be releasing soon. Skywave Healer, I remember that. Murasame was also pretty cool. Yeah, absolutely, Raz. I loved the first time I saw all those raptors coming down from the sky. Had to blast them all. That felt pretty good. Yeah, of course. All my songs are on SoundCloud right now, and when I eventually get them distributed, hopefully they'll be in stores as well. But yeah, more and more of my music comes out all the time, so if you like it, have a listen. I produce AI created tracks. I've got like a stable of AI artists. They're all fantastic. So they'll just keep churning out songs for me, and like I said, I don't make the slop. I make the good stuff, the real stuff.
Ask Quiet was a monster.
Skywave was awesome. I loved Murasame just because of his counter. His counter is just awesome. See, we all talk so fondly of games like Exo Primal, but that's how it goes, right? It's still dead.
New subscriber detected.
Welcome, new subscriber. I wish it didn't die, but them's the breaks. Them's the breaks. Let's check in with the polls right now. The polls say we got half an hour of stream left to go, and 45% of people think that Serena's good for the game. 16% say that she's OP. She needs to be nerfed now. 32% say she's OP, but there's no need for a nerf, and 7% say that she's weak. I mean, fair is fair. More than 40 people have said that she's OP and she needs a nerf, but the majority seem to say she is OP, no need for nerf, or just straight up no need for nerf. And for the 7% that says she's weak, damn, bros. Y'all need my build, man. Just use my build, you'll be okay. But that is very interesting. Also, don't forget to register me as your creator if you haven't already. Thank you to everyone for voting in the polls. I still wish that we heard more from the people who say she needs a nerf. I want to know the logic behind their decision. It would mean a lot. But, oh well. Probably not, Razgris. I wouldn't make any money from that, so I have to be real with you. I stream to make money, so this is how I feed my family. So unless they offered me a paid contract, there's no way I'm playing a game with only 10 people playing. Like, just being honest. Hello, Christian. Like, if it came down to it, I'd rather play Darktide with my gang then do that. I'ma be real. I'ma be real. Maybe that's exactly what they're doing, Vindy. Maybe they haven't figured out that you can add mods to characters yet. No, I do not. I never do. Like I said, I do this as a professional career. So when you play with viewers, they can come on your stream, say things, say anything, do this, do that. So I prefer to keep myself and my people safe. I am very, very straightforward and simple about that. So those who want to game with me, there's a condition. You got to show that you really support the stream, and that means getting a top tier channel membership, being one of my top supporters, donors, whatever. Like those types of people, I'll play with them anytime. No issue. They're the people that have proven that they genuinely care about the stream. But yeah. Other than that, sorry. No. Do I think Daya will be the next Descendant? She better be. I think that if they don't put Daya in this game, people are gonna flip the table. In my personal opinion. I did say that, Raz. But yeah. Daya has too much hype around her to ever not become playable. She definitely will become playable. At least in my personal opinion. In my personal opinion, they should put Daya into the game. But hopefully they'll actually work out a melee system before that, because Daya's a Lancer. So she deserves a system that'll work around her. At least to the best of my knowledge. Oh wait, I didn't trigger. Ha! That's what I get for being silly. You want Captain Harris to be a Descendant. You filthy person. Nah, fair enough. I don't want Captain Harris to be a Descendant. I don't know why a lot of people like Captain Harris. She looks so normal to me. You could find anybody looking like Captain Harris just walking down the street. You're not gonna find somebody looking like Serena walking down the street, I'll tell you that much. I mean, you could also have a Lance that shoots plasma balls, but hey. That's totally cool. No, I just want her to be a Lancer. Like, I want her to have a dash attack where she just goes through all the enemies, you know? Turn her into a serious Lancer type character. It'll be pretty fun. Hello, good morning, Sinclair's Den.
We will not fail.
Oh crap. Well, that's not very cash money. Lamau. Okay, I guess I better kill this thing. That's what I get for being sloppy. Ow. Well, that's my own fault. Nobody else to blame for that.
Death to the corrupt.
Fair enough, Vindy. I mean, even if a con is going on, you're probably still not going to find anyone that in real life looks like Serena. And even if you do, the sad thing is you look them up, they probably have like 3 different OnlyFans or Fansly accounts or so on and so forth.
Into the light.
And listen, if I ever wanted that, my friend, I've got an AI for that.
Ask twice, just a monster.
Hell, I could probably gen an AI right now that looks like Serena. Not all of them do, but a lot of them know that there's a market for that kind of thing, so yeah. I don't knock the way they make money, but yeah, not my thing. But you know what I want from this game? I just want them to explore more of the old lore. You know, I want them to explore the whole Knights of whatever, the Knight Crusaders and all that. Like, they just made... I think a lot of people are missing what they made here. They gave this game a hell of a lot of Warhammer 40k potential right now. And that's what I want to see.
Ask twice like a monster.
So do I, pal. But unfortunately, a lot of people, when they have it, they take advantage of it. And again, like I said, I don't knock them. Use whatever advantage you can to make a living. I just that I don't have to respect them, you know. I'm old school like that. And I also don't buy into the whole bullshit of, you know, this is different from, you know, being on the streets. Just that instead of on the streets, you're a digital service-oriented staff member. Let's call it that. Do what you have to do to make a living, but I mean, you never know. Could be rarely.
I have punished the wicked.
And a lot of people do say she was designed somewhat like Mercy, but I feel she's more Sisters of Battle. That's actually a good word for it, Maester. I will use that word from now on. Yes, Jezebel. That actually makes a lot of sense and would be the correct term. And also not banned by YouTube, so I can actually use that word. But anyway, coming back to the point, yo, I want them to do a Warhammer 40k style story. I want to see, you know, these descendants move closer and closer to Warhammer 40k because they should. They've already gotten the base of it, man. If they start moving in that direction, you know, give us some Space Marine chapters. Knight Crusaders of Albion. That's something I can get behind.
Purification.
VTubers are a whole nother problem. I don't blame people for that, but again, maybe I'm just really old-fashioned. So I'd rather put my ugly face here, and you can see this horrendous visage in your nightmares, all right? So I'll put my ugly face here, and then you know you're talking to a real person. I don't know. I feel like it gives me more of a personal connection, but maybe it's because I'm a guy. I don't feel the need to hide behind a mask. It's just like, hey, it's me. Here's the robot. What you see is what you get. You can put a face to me. This is my face. Yes, it's very ugly, but I'm here. You know, there you go. I'm not farming for components. I'm just murdering shit. I have nothing more to do than to just talk to you guys, and I just really wanted to murder shit. Oh, what I am farming is crystallization catalyst blueprints.
Purification.
And I have an ATOMS, or as we Singaporeans call it, the ATAMAS. Okay? I'm too lazy to ever use makeup, so don't worry about that. What you see is what you get. And if there's the face in your nightmares, that's okay. I like being your nightmare. I just wake up, get out of bed, you know. I lightly brush my hair, but my hair is just naturally curly anyway. I lightly brush my hair. I come on, I sit down and be like, yep, Here's what I do. This is what I do for a living. Now you're sitting with me and my ugly mug for 3 hours. Let's go. You're ready. You're ready.
I will cleanse this place.
Yeah, fair enough, Vindy. Nothing wrong with that, man. Everybody got their own taste. Well, yeah, they did, Andy. It's true. Sorry, mob flash this man? What do you want to do? I don't even know what a mob flash is. And, you know, I missed your earlier statement. Who are the Guardsmen Descendant? You want to see the Guardsmen Descendant? Hold on, let me show you the Guardsmen right now. Alright, we're Space Marines, right? Let me show you the Guardsmen Descendant right now. There's 2 of them and you can find them right now. Sorry, people, my allergies are killing me today. Well, no, not Jaber, but I'm gonna show you the Guardsmen right now. Well, I'd agree with that statement, but, you know, as somebody that is very straight up and also believes in total equality, I have to say, men and women, I think they play games for the same reason. We all want to escape reality because reality is bullshit. All right, you see these 2 guys here? These are the Guardsmen. Look at him. He's even walking in lower frame rates than I am. I have higher frame rates for my walk animation, but this guy's walking in slow motion. Are you seeing the frames that are slow? Like, he deliberately walks at this extra slow frame rate, whereas my Descendant is walking at full frames. You see, so this guy, he's a Guardsman. It proves that all Descendants also move faster than normal human beings. We're perceiving the world faster than any normal human being, because look at this guy. Oh, I guess Lepic counts as well. You can see it right now. Look at I'm moving, and I can prove it in even greater detail. I am moving in full FPS, right? Let me switch over to the other side. All right, we'll do some. Oh, actually, where's the Feel the Rhythm? Oh, Comic Dance. Comic Dance. There we go. Look at my smooth movements compared to him. He's just walking back and front in just 30 FPS. I'm moving in a full 60. They didn't even give the Guardsmen any frames.
You're back. What a relief.
So those are the Guardsmen. Those are the everyday guys in a flak jacket. Just surviving, getting by. The rest of us, yeah, we're Space Marines. Now all they need is to give my Serena a bolter. I need a bolt gun. You know, I need to dispense the Emperor's justice to my enemies. Oh, being in the game 24/7 is probably pretty apocalyptic for the soul. I'll tell you why. You're literally somebody that fears death constantly. You are going to constantly fear death and be afraid. Because that's your reality right there. That would probably please a lot of people, but I don't believe so. But I'm sure there are many who want it. And Guardsman season when? I don't know, pal. It'll be the season of the Guardsmen when they decide to make us all Lepic. Well, even if she makes 0 sense to ever become playable, right? People want to see the guide as a Descendant, so they might just make her playable. She might have some ghostly abilities, you never know. Or maybe they construct a body for her.
Face the flames. As quiet as a monster.
Can I do it from my spawn? Actually, I wonder. I'm actually curious now. I want to try that. Yeah, something like Echo, pretty much. Adaptive circuits engage, Descendants. Descendants, your RK is too strong. Or something like that. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. But you know, people don't know this fact, but Echo is Singaporean. So we have a joke around here. Now, Singaporeans, we have this phrase, "walau." It's like, oh god, kind of dealio. So we always said that when Echo gets killed in Overwatch, she should say "walau." Yeah, it's too far. I need to be a bit closer. What's the max range on this damn weapon? Should be longer than that. Apparently, when my doggo is picking up stuff, I cannot click details, which is hilarious. What's the maximum range on this? Oh, effective range is 55, drop off at 85. Okay, noted with thanks. Yes, what is your question, Mr. Ryder? I think that they should just start introducing mercenaries into this game. Because the coolest thing about Monster Hunter is I've got a Palico to hunt with. I think we need like some random squire to fight with us. He'll just run around with us and be an absolute nerd. That I think would be cool. Absolutely not, Voodoo Cree. If you prefer that kind of thing and that kind of creator, you can watch them instead. As you know, I'll do what's right for the people, so you can make your choice of who to follow, but you know my rules. I mean, up to you, Ryder. You want to buy it, buy it. She took me only 5 hours to farm, but it's your money at the end of the day. Just make sure you've registered me as a creator. If you haven't, I'm going to be very sad. Here's my link. Enjoy. Maybe after I'm done with all the stuff that I want to test, Razgriz, if I've got spare time, then yes. I have worked on it in the past, but there's a lot of stuff to update, to be honest.
As quiet as a monster.
No, this is her default skin. I hope you renewed support, Ryder, because don't forget, you can make me your creator, but you have to renew support every month. So if you haven't renewed support yet, hit the link and renew support. Thanks. Just making sure. And no problem, cat co-op. That's what I always do. I'm here to help. All I did, Sahil, was paint the skin. Hello, Predict. These are the same colors as the Sister of Battle. Yeah, just hit the link and you're good to go, Ryder. Link is right there. Nightbot put it up. Hit that link and just make sure. Skill-based Enzo build, because why not? You could.
Death to the blasphemous.
There's nothing wrong with that. Some people might like it.
Death to the corrupt.
I'm sure you can. It's just, why should you? You know? I'm sure it's possible, but nah. Even for me, even if I do off meta, it still has to be reasonable, you know? So I won't do something that's totally unreasonable. Which is why I worked on Viesa in the past and a couple others, but we'll see. Like I said, I'm open to it, but if it's not like within the normal level of efficiency, I probably won't bother. Enjoy, Sahil. Okay, I mean, you're welcome to believe that. I'm not gonna stop your beliefs, but that's not how it works. Because anyone that builds my build can do exactly what I do, dude. This guy says can't hear me. Then why are you here, bro? I'm debating whether or not I should ban him. I just can't remember if he's my friend or not. Because last time he had some kind of username that looked like that. I'm debating on the channel ban this time. I don't know. I think I should. No, I'm not. You want to know what I'm using? It's all in my build videos, man. Everything you need is already on my YouTube channel. All you gotta do is follow it. No. Sad.
A victory for humanity.
Maybe you should just aim for the eye. I'm gonna try that next round. I've got a few more minutes left, so may as well aim for the eye. Anyway, all I'm doing here is collecting catalyst blueprints. I'm gonna need them to craft more catalysts.
I will cleanse this place.
Eye's better.
I have punished the wicked.
Tormentor, I did it early in the stream. So you have to come to my shows early if you want to catch that. Sorry. I've got another show in the evening, but yep. I'm just working on this right now. I mean, Raz, you know, that's totally fine. Everybody's got their own style of wanting to do certain things and things like that. So don't worry too much about it. Some people want to challenge me. When I want to challenge, I go play a different game.
I have punished the wicked.
Nope, Sinclair. Unless you really want to go and farm 2 copies, I don't bother. My builds are all general builds. I make them so that people don't have to have 2 guns. That's how I operate. I do not want people to have to build 2 guns, but you can do that if you want. Yeah, I was a hella big creator on Helldivers. I just stopped playing because I was disappointed with the dev team. And by the time it got decent again, I just didn't feel the need to go back. And besides, the dev team seems to have chosen their streamers, so I'm not going back to a place I'm not appreciated. If they need me to play it, they know where to find me, and they can obviously sign a contract with me. They pay me, I'll play it. They don't pay me, I've got no reason to play it. Simple enough, right? Besides, Helldivers is not really a game you make content on. There's no real builds and stuff. It's just choose these strategy loadouts, choose these weapons, have fun. So, not really easy to be a content creator on that. I mean, I might do some guide explanation videos here and there, but other than that, not much to do, to be perfectly frank. All right, looks like we are done. Listen, enjoy, Marley. I plan on trying that out at some point myself as well. I'm almost done building it up. I'll see where it goes after that. But I'm still not 100% sure what I want to do with it. I'll think about it. All right. For now, though, ladies and gents, thank you very much for being here. I hope you guys have had a good time with us. I will be heading off now. All right. Gonna go have my lunch and everything. You guys have a good day. Okay. Don't do anything weird while I'm gone. If you want to do something weird while I'm gone, well, I can't help you with that. All right. I'll catch you all later this evening, and maybe we can experiment a little bit with the Void Erosion Purge. We'll see. All right. Catch you all then, and see you later. Y'all have a good one.